Well, I'd already put a tweet out and a Discord message, so I think that doesn't really need to be done now.
We'll give chat about 2 minutes to join in, and then we'll start the actual recording.
Yeah.
So
Andrew,
Let me put it on my
gearing up
Discord
for
as well.
Volume 3. I see.
Sorry, what was
oh
that?
yeah.
Lock on Volume 3. You're gearing up for that. I see as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
That
Exciting
cover
times.
is,
Going on.
my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, it's very cool.
I'm just gonna tweet about it with my nondescript phone case.
Oh my gosh.
You really are trying your best to
I
push
bet-
it out there as much.
I bet.
And look,
I bet you're getting ripped off,
do
though.
what you gotta do.
I bet you're getting ripped off. I bet I could do that for cheaper.
It depends on who does your merchandise.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Making for you.
I can probably do it cheaper.
You probably could.
Oh, chat, please come in. Oh yeah, Pete, you probably should let chat know that it is open now.
Yeah, I'll do that in Discord now.
We got 2. That's right, 2 follows in the last 5 minutes while we were offline.
Very cool.
So I think
Very good.
it's our extinguished. That's not the right word. Distinguished.
Extinguished.
Yes.
Extinguished means they're not on fire anymore. It's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, we put out the fire. They're extinguished guests. That's right. Join us as I get my words all twisted and confused. It's going to be a great one.
Yeah. Okay, notification's gone out on the video content channel anyway, so that's good. But I've just put it in the Discord.
Pete, can you probably already are, but can you check Twitch and make sure the sound is coming through? We had a little bit of a sound issue earlier, which is why it was so late and clicking.
Oh, I still remember that episode when we'd done the full episode and the audio was not there at all.
There was zero audio, but it was the day after. It was the day after. What's his face? Snoop Doggy Dogg had done his gaming episode with no volume or no sound.
So clearly we were just
it was an
referencing
homage.
that.
It was a full 2-hour homage to Snoop Doggy Dogg.
I mean, anyone who could do a 2-hour homage to Snoop Dogg, Jesus Christ.
Oh, we've got
a lot of weed.
Our Chad, as we call him. Hello, Brent Bueno.
Bueno, Brent.
Brent, bring all your friends.
Hello, Brent.
Yes.
We'll go another, I say 4 minutes. Yes, Ciaran is back again.
We can do, indeed. I'm just going to run the quick sound test.
Yeah, you do all that nonsense.
I'll call you out and you just do your, so say something, alright, so. Okay, Kylie?
Yo!
Ciaran?
Big up the man then.
Andrew?
Hello.
Oodles?
Up.
Wow, I really thought you were going to do your usual hello there.
Oh, goodness.
Hello there.
Only Ciaran's allowed to do that.
You have not listened to enough Modern Escapism then.
But Ciaran's Scottish.
Change that. You should listen.
Yeah, please change that.
I
mean, you do it more on Scorched Sheep, to be fair, don't you?
Yeah.
Because it's part of your character.
Yes. Also, I'm an actor.
Acting, as Ian McKellen says.
We won't talk about extras because I was going to talk about extras then.
I love
I
extras.
could talk about extras all day.
Extras is great, yeah.
But see, I love Stephen Merchant. Like, I mean, what's his face is great, but Stephen Merchant is like...
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, that guy, that little guy, that little comedian.
What's his face? You know, that guy who does Afterlife?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, Afterlife, season 3, by the way.
The richest comedian on the planet.
Yeah,
That guy.
Just a little no-name.
Stephen
Stephen Merchant is where it's
Globes.
at. Yeah, notice they didn't have one this year. Can't imagine.
Yeah, they
why.
asked me and I said no.
They probably asked Gervais.
Yeah.
He said no as well. I've done enough last year.
Wasn't good for your future.
I'll be back.
Okay. Oh yes, Andrew is back. Yes. Woohoo! I gotta get used to where my camera is. It's backwards. And first time appearance by Oodles. Yes, it is a first time, not only appearance, but first time on the
My
show.
first ever podcast I've ever done.
Oh, yeah. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You guys didn't see it. He was incredibly nervous.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't worry.
I bought this mic just for it.
Well, you spent too much, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You'll learn. Okay, I think no. All right, I'll give us 2 more minutes. That way we can get the sillies out, and then
You get the sillies out.
No, it won't happen. I'll be like, I'm gonna say so many things, and you won't even catch them. People don't catch my jokes. They just sit there and oh, it's like okay. But I've got some troll questions coming up for our audience panel. I mean, not for our audience, for our panel.
I step back in and I hear Kylie talking about her jokes. It's taken me 2 years and I still don't get them.
No, nobody gets my jokes. It's true. But we do have some... Yes, this is a serious, hard-hitting episode. No silliness. I am going to try. But, to be fair, everyone on this panel is silly to an extent, which is why we've got them on here. And 2, I have so many troll questions. Mostly because Oodles, I found out, it's a PlayStation. A Sony pony, if you will. And Andrew...
This is the man who sold his goddamn Xbox a few days before Halo Infinite came out.
Yes, but
Yes.
did you see Andrew just got
Oh dear.
a PS5?
I did, yeah. I did. What a nice surprise that was.
Literally 1 o'clock in the morning. Like my partner walked through the bedroom door while I was sat in bed watching something and just like plonked a PS5 on the bed, and I was like, okay, I'm tired now.
Thanks for that.
I'm surprised it didn't break your bed.
Oh
I know,
my
it's-
gosh.
I mean,
It's
look,
a big
look
thing.
at a behemoth behind me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had to sneak mine into my house. I didn't even tell her. I snuck it in. And what you doing? Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no
When-
sneaking that thing in. There's just no
No.
sneaking.
No, when did you get your Zoodles?
I got mine, I believe, October last year.
Okay,
I was
so
going to say,
pretty
it's not like
recent.
you could get away with saying, oh, it's a Christmas present. Oh,
No, and I missed all the good PS Plus drops.
Oh,
And-
right.
This is one of the main contributing factors why I did get rid of my Xbox, because it wasn't unplugged since I got the PS5.
Oh, right. I mean, you have been playing a lot of games on there. Like, a
yes.
lot. So,
Yes.
what is it now? Dark Souls Remastered? You've
Yeah,
gone back
just-
to?
That's just for fun now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
that's
fun.
just
For fun.
Yeah,
That's relaxing.
I'm gonna stay silent on that one. There's nothing fun for me about Dark Souls. It's just
Don't kink
endless.
shame Dark Souls fans.
Look, I'm not gonna yuck your yum. You like what you like.
I don't like that description either. Goddamn.
Okay, I think we're ready, Pete, if you want to, unless you want to wait the prerequisite 4 minutes. Oh my gosh, Brent says, I haven't even unplugged my 360 yet.
Wow.
That's
to be fair,
is.
I do have a regular Xbox switched on in the house, but that's my daughter's.
I was gonna say, is that the kids? That's the kids
She's
unit.
got that. She's got that for Roblox. It's a Roblox machine. That's it.
So, is it an original VCR, an S, or the 1X?
It's the day one
Oh my
edition
gosh.
of the one.
yeah,
the Xbox One.
The VCR then.
Yeah, and it came with Kinect, and Kinect's never been plugged in.
Good. Even
And-
though it was required.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I am a huge 360 fan. I love
Oh
the 360.
yeah.
What a console! I didn't like the PlayStation 3. That's even though I am a Sony fanboy. Did not
Wow.
like the PS3.
Really?
We'll probably get into that a little
Yeah.
bit more, I guess. But
Yeah.
that PS3 controller was bloody awful.
Horrendous.
Okay, I'm gonna take
I
one
felt like
more
it was going to
shot.
snap in my hands, for Christ's sake.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Okay, one more
Horrible.
shot, then we'll start.
You drinking?
Kylie's already drunk.
I drink.
Oh, I didn't know I could
24/7.
drink because it was early. That's why I brought juice.
I live
No,
in
you-
Ireland.
Oh,
I probably should have pre-warned you, Oodles, that Kylie does get drunk during it.
They
well, I usually
literally
do, but not this time in the afternoon.
Oh no! In Ireland,
No.
they start drinking at 11 a.m. and I have to play
I've
catch
been,
up.
I know.
Well, they'll describe it as it's 12 o'clock somewhere in the world, which is true.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh, it's so funny when you go to a restaurant and everyone's just like they're ordering like the hard stuff at 11 a.m. and I'm like, oh, wait, can I order a cocktail? And they're like, have you fucking looked around? I was like, oh, right.
Yeah.
They drink early here.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of that really weird like thing from Family Guy years ago where the guy orders a Sam Adams because he wants to get the taste of weed and hooker spit out of his mouth.
Oh,
Samuel
dear.
Adams.
Oh dear.
Always a good choice.
Oh dear. I don't drink beer,
Right,
so
look.
I will take your word for it.
I wouldn't know.
I'm Pete. I don't drink.
You don't drink, Pete.
No, I
never
just don't
drink.
frequent hookers.
That explains a lot.
But he also
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't.
drink.
Yeah, I don't drink.
If you drank more, you might frequent hookers more.
It's not a good thing.
Back in my younger days, possibly. Who knows?
It's
Hey.
just because you look so young today. It's hard to
I was going to
differentiate.
say, I kind of don't want to, don't want to out myself potentially if my partner's watching this. So she never does, but
Pete, you've
still,
been to
just let it go.
Amsterdam. Pete's been to Amsterdam.
I bet he has.
I've been 3 times for Christ's sake.
I got arrested in Amsterdam. Is this not live yet? Is it live?
We are
We are
live.
live.
Yeah.
I got arrested in Amsterdam.
I remember
Did
that
you,
story.
like-
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, why? I want to know.
I jumped on someone's house, aka a boat,
Well,
and I went through the boat.
Mm.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
this, really.
I was drunk.
Right. Well, you'd have to be. I'd be more.
I weren't just drunk.
Yeah. Well, it's Amsterdam.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh,
Banged up 3
Andrew,
days.
aren't you so happy you joined us for today?
Yeah, with us reprobates.
Don't worry, this is not the recorded part. I promise.
Yeah, luckily, criminal records don't follow me to my country.
Oh, is that true? Maybe
Well,
I'll
it is in
start
Amsterdam
planning.
anyway.
I'll start
Apparently
planning
so,
next
yeah.
year.
I mean,
Okay, Pete.
That's still not the weirdest story I've heard in Amsterdam, but hey,
No.
it's close.
No.
Oh goodness.
So
Okay.
we're
Alright.
gonna get this shoot.
Yeah,
we
are getting
need
the show
to get
on the road.
moving. Yeah.
Do
Yes. Alrighty, so we are recording, so we're going to start the show in 3, 2.
Welcome to Rapid Reviews Radio Podcast, episode 108. I cannot believe it. I kid you not, my friends. When I say we have an exciting episode in store for you today. Before me, for our lovely listeners who cannot see, although you can join us over at twitch.tv/Rapid Reviews. I have before me a full panel of wonderful, awesome guests, and we are going to discuss a little piece of news you might have heard about. I don't know, maybe. Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Now, that was hard to say. But before we start, I do want to introduce our panel. Going clockwise from whatever direction this is. I think this is left. We have Ciaran, who's our regular contributor and also a writer-reviewer for Rapids Review UK, and his own blog, which is pauseplayreview.com. Go check it out. To my, I'm going to say right. I'm guessing at this point. It is Andrew, the editor-in-chief of Lock On, a former guest, but a wonderful one, a fount of knowledge, which we will be getting to talk about more about Lock On towards the end of the podcast, because we have a giveaway, so stay tuned for that. And then to my bottom left is, I don't know, a gentleman by the name of Oodles? Host and founder of Modern Escapism Podcast Network. And also a writer-contributor for Rapids Review UK. I keep wanting to call it RR UK, but I'm like, people may not, I need to give the full thing. And then to my bottom right is Pete, my usual co-host, but will be a guest. Well, no, you're not a guest. You're a contributor to the panel.
Babyface assassin contributor.
Yes, there you go. So we have got a full panel. I'm very pleased. I'm very excited. And I am your co-host, Kiley Wilde. I don't have any bona fides to support except I co-host this every week. But before we do that, I do like to get a little sentence or two from each of our contributors just to see how their week's been going and kind of get the nerves out before we delve into this very, very, very important subject. Ciaran, how's your week been?
Oh, I'm doing grand. My week's been fine. Just been catching up uni work. Gets me back at university for my final semester of my degree, which is scary and exciting for many reasons. Other than that, just playing some games, chilling out. That's really been it.
What games have you been playing this week?
That's a good question. Play a bit of Halo.
Because the new thing on Halo is this week.
Yeah, I played that a bit. I've seen something Halo recently, but
Is that attrition?
it's good. But I played that. Played a bit of Fortnite. Believe it or not. No, hey, listen, listeners, you can't see Pete's face. Pete is looking at me in disgust and shock. Right? See Fortnite.
You're just down with the kids, that's all.
No, listen, the only time I lose a game in Fortnite is when I come up against a kid in like the final. It's like just me and some other kid left, and he's on his Switch. Like I can't compete with a kid on his Switch because all day. Like you know, like, I see someone that's a Switch player. I'm giving in. There's no point trying. But yeah, other than that, yeah, lovely time in Fortnite.
Excellent, Andrew. What about you? What you been up to? You playing anything this week? Any surprises that dropped this week in your bedroom?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I haven't played very much yet. And I really want to play Fortnite again now that Kieran's mentioned it. And I am a Switch player. And
oh, there you go.
I can't compete. I can't.
Too good.
Advantage.
But yeah, I've had a good week. I went to watch Scream and Spider-Man at the cinema, which was a good time.
Nice.
I got my booster jab finally, and I was like, I'm going to treat myself because I'm going to have like a really sore arm and other places probably, which I do, which is great. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to the cinema. So I did a double bill, back-to-back Scream and Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
Please tell me Scream is actually good, because I'm really looking forward to it.
Scream is actually good.
Okay, good, because the fourth one wasn't great.
Oh, I didn't mind the fourth one. It was all right. I mean, the third one's probably the one in the series that I'm a bit iffy about. But even that I like, but it just wasn't as good as the others. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I
love Scream anyway.
Oh yeah, Scream's great. Yeah, I rewatched it recently. Well, in October, and I was just like, you forget how the 90s were all about girl power and all that stuff. It was like, yeah, strong female protagonist kicking ass. But Andrew, have you played any games this week, or is it just too heavy of a week?
It's just one of those weeks. I've been busy with Lock On, but
yes.
I do now own a PlayStation 5 as of 1 a.m. today, which is awesome. I've set it up, but I haven't had a chance to play anything on it yet.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
I will do that probably right after this podcast.
Do not blame me there. I would be itching at it as well. Oodles.
Wrap everyone. We gotta go. Like,
yeah, wrap it up fast. Oodles, you're next in line. How's your week been? Are you playing anything? What you got going
My
on?
week's been scary. So last week I left my job to start another job.
Wow, yes, okay.
And then I started this new job, and I hate it. So then I rang my old job up to get my old job back, and I got it back.
Yes!
So that's been my week. There's been a lot of conferences, a lot of on my knees begging, and just saying, sorry, I was wrong. And my old job, like pulling some swift tactics to say, do you want to just call this a holiday? I'm like, yeah, let's call it a holiday.
There you go.
So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I totally get that. That's a Saturday night for me.
Oh god, the first day of my new job was like, I've made a huge mistake.
Don't worry, I've been there before as well.
Oh,
I could have
gosh.
cried that first night.
Oh my gosh.
Been there too.
But it's good that you had the other to fall back on. Some people don't.
Lucky.
Yeah, exactly. So what about you playing any games this week? Or
I played some games. I've played the
a few.
Hitman games, the trilogy,
yes.
on PS5.
Yes, very good.
And I've been playing Dark Souls Remastered on Switch, just as I said in the green room, just for fun.
Yeah,
Just for fun, just as a
fun.
relaxing time. Do you know what?
Relaxing.
If you guys had me on Switch, you'd be annoyed because I've started and stopped many games this week because I've been so stressed in my mind. I'm like, I need something to take my mind off it. But I'm starting because I'm a big fan of JRPGs, and starting those is sometimes the hardest bit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, and I've just thrown them aside. So I stuck with things I like, Hitman and Dark Souls, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that with Dragon Quest XI because I downloaded it after, obviously, on Modern
Watch your
Escapism
next
Oodles
words
O'Dimm.
carefully.
I really like the game, but it's a very slow start, so it's hard to get into.
You answered that
No,
correct.
that's what she said.
Yeah. just to mention of Hitman there, I myself was going to try Hitman because, you're playing PlayStation, but I don't know if anyone else knows, but it's on Game Pass, all three of them. Which is absolutely excellent.
Kieran, what is Game Pass? I've never heard of that.
But thing is, I
nice.
didn't have to pay for mine. I got codes, so
Hey,
Oh, well then, okay.
Wow.
I mean,
it's essentially the same as Game Pass.
Reviewer
exactly the
pass. Pete, what about you? How's your week, and have you been playing anything this week?
Our week's been alright. Partner's had COVID, so I haven't been able to see her all week, which kind of sucks. So I'm hoping that she's going to be clear for tomorrow, but I won't get into that, obviously. In terms of games played, I played a bit of Halo this week, played a bit of Smash with a Together We Play lot for an hour or so, and I managed to complete Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and really, really enjoyed that game, although I feel like probably an hour or two just too long. That's
Yeah.
my only criticism of it.
so excited to play it.
Well, I'm happy to send it up to you when you're ready, mate.
I'm ready.
Okay?
He does
We'll
that.
confer afterwards.
Like,
Excellent.
Pete just sends you games. Like, he sent me Final Fantasy VII R, and he just.
I've given him
sent
content
it
for
to me.
ages, so
Well, there you go. It's a good
Yeah,
exchange.
many hours. Although I do pay for it.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
There you
Sorry.
go.
Yeah, but
I'll refund you this month.
Oh
no,
gosh.
if you guys weren't there, I wouldn't have anything really to listen to much. So fair enough.
Thank you.
Ooh, there you go. No, it is good. Oh yes, that'll come up at the end.
Yeah, Kylie, what about you? Have you been playing any games this week, or?
Believe it or not, the game I've been playing and I've hated it, like I've resented while I'm playing it, is Stardew Valley. I'm a late bloomer. I play games years after they come out. So I started playing Stardew Valley about 4 weeks ago. And yeah, I chose Shane to romance. And he was a lot of work. But now I did that. I landed him. And now I'm bored, and there's nothing to do except grow things in mine.
It's just like my week.
So I probably, and then this is definitely going to come up because it's in one of my questions. But I'm actually playing it on a tablet version, mobile version, and yeah, it's a little bit different than, say, the Switch version. But I really like it, except for when you have to do any form of combat. It's bad. It's really bad. Especially like shooting when you do like the whatever that thing's called. That thing. What? No, like you have the little rock and the thing and the
Slingshot.
That's it.
I just wanted you to stay on that and struggle with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This thing. But anyway.
That could have lasted at least 30 minutes. So.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
I noticed.
I'm not good at words. Words not good me. And I'm a professional writer, and I'm no good words. Words bad.
This is a real endorsement for your literary career.
Yeah. Go check out my books. Anyway. But, so, we've caught up with everyone. Ooh, let me check. Now, chat. Oh, chat is, yes, hello.
Keep an eye.
Hello,
Keep an
Joshua.
eye. Yeah, so...
Just a forewarning that, and sorry, Pete, yeah, I'll let you continue in a second. But we are going to get to chat at different parts through this because it's going to be a lot of monologues.
I think what we'll do is if there's anything that comes up in terms of the point that we're making, then we'll mention it then. If not, then we can cover it at the end of the show. Basically, like questions, pretty much.
Right. But yeah, you can go ahead and read what Josh just wrote.
There is a certain someone in our chat called Squash Pickle. You might know him, Andrew. Has said,
Joshua.
"Who's this Andrew?" Said Pete's been demoted. Has he? Sorry, Pete.
Should have shaved, mate.
This week I've been demoted. Yeah, it's because everyone thinks I'm under 18 and can't drink.
Oh gosh.
Not allowed to handle adult conversations.
It's true. Okay, so I think we're ready to delve in. Now, I'm going to give just a very, very, very brief, because I want our panel to speak far more than I am. But I'm going to give a very brief catch-up to our audience out there, our lovely, lovely listeners and watchers. So, what has happened in this past week is multinational techno corp, Microsoft. Sorry.
Cyberdyne.
I played that there. It's like, wait. Are we in Cyberpunk? What are we doing? I
thought that was more Terminator.
It was Terminator, but Cyberpunk works.
Have y'all seen the new Terminator game that came out? It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Shall we stay on topic, please, Kylie?
Yes.
We know you like to divert all the time.
I do. Okay. But anyway, multinational tech corp Microsoft has been in talks to acquire Activision Blizzard at a cost of $68.7 billion. 69 billion. Nice. This is 9 times as much as the buyout of Bethesda, which happened last year and took us all by surprise, or it took me by surprise. I assume it took everyone by surprise.
I think it did.
Yeah, it was quite a pleasant surprise for me, but I am an unashamed Bethesda fangirl. Not so much
an Xbox fangirl.
Yeah. Not so much an Activision fangirl, but that'll come up. Activision Blizzard, for those who don't know, is a video game holding company that owns and operates subsidiary studios under their Activision Publishing, and they have esports initiatives under their Blizzard Entertainment. They are the producers of COD, Call of Duty, Crash Bandicoot, Diablo, Tony Hawk, World of Warcraft, etc. Lots more than what I just named. But recently they've become far more well known for their sexual harassment lawsuits that are many and varied against them. Specifically, the chief executive of Activision Blizzard is Bobby Kotick. He will come up again in this, maybe a couple times. Definitely
the Goblin Man himself.
Definitely comes up one time in one of my questions, but I'm sure he's going to come back up. He's been recently under fire for not reporting settlements that were made out of court to his board in regards to sexual assaults, and for being tone deaf in regards to the, quote, frat boy environment of his company, which led to women feeling unsafe at their place of employment. So that's a kind of brief rundown. Now, I usually do for roundtable discussions for our listener. What, Pete?
You didn't mention that actually the deal is potentially due to be completed anytime between 2022 and June 2023.
Yes.
Yep. As per the SEC commissions, basically.
Yeah.
Having to do antitrust stuff and all that.
I was going to say, we're going to come up...
It's probably going to be sooner rather than later, though.
Yes, but we're definitely going to touch on some antitrust stuff, which Microsoft has been brought up before in 1998. Everyone thought the end of Microsoft was near because they were brought up on antitrust laws, and actually the ruling was overturned, the original ruling. So they were allowed to continue practicing, which, good or bad depends on your point of view. Okay, we're going to dive right in. What I usually do with a roundtable is I will ask a question, sometimes of all of our panelists, sometimes they're targeted questions. And since I found out that Oodles is a PlayStation player, I do have a targeted question for him. But that will come up later. So, Andrew, I'm going to start with you today. Okay, Activision Blizzard only made $8 billion in 2020. While Microsoft itself made $143 billion in revenue. Microsoft doesn't need the money obviously, from Activision. So what do you think the motivating factor was in this acquisition of Activision Blizzard?
I mean, yeah, they don't need the money from Activision Blizzard, but they do need the IP. Like, that is exactly what they're looking for in terms of that acquisition. They have Game Pass, and they have their own internal studios, of course, but their own internal studios don't put out games that people want to buy more often than not. They're happy to play them on Game Pass, but
Right.
people don't go out of their way these days to buy a Gears of War game or a Halo game. You know, and that's partly Microsoft's own fault for making them all free, which is fine. You know, Game Pass is a great thing. But yeah, they're running out of IP, and they can't make
Right.
enough. So why not just buy the people who make the world's most well-known IP in Call of Duty? So yeah, that's exactly why they're doing it. And my hope is that they're also doing it to try and stop the bad things happening in Activision. But that might just be me being a bit too hopeful. So,
Well,
yeah.
I don't think that is untrue, because if you look at Phil's statement when they announced this deal, the wording was specifically, they will be reporting to me, CEO of Microsoft, basically. So it sort of felt like, to me, it was like, yeah, I'm just going to basically turn around and go, yeah, you have to report to me. I'm changing the entire culture once we actually are able to finalize the purchase.
I mean, you think about you know, the ethos that Xbox has been pushing the past few years about supporting their workers, their teams, and making sure they produce the best stuff possible, and also, you know, supporting players. But obviously, staying on this point, if they want to support their teams, those teams now encompass all the teams Activision Blizzard. You know, they're not going to just go back and not solve it. You know, if they're committed to the ethos they've been promoting, that they care about their studios and want to support their studios in every way possible, they're going to do that.
Well, Ciaran, that actually comes to a larger question of recently Activision Blizzard, the people that work for employees of Activision Blizzard have been unionizing. And do you think that Microsoft is going to accept and validate their union?
See, that's a good question. That's something I had in my little thing here. Yeah, because it was QA testers at Raven
Yes,
Software who
that's correct.
work on Call of Duty
That
that
is correct.
formed one of the industry's first unions, which is big, very big, especially when you consider, like, I mean, as a crime that the games industry is, you know, one of the least unionized in the world, considering, like, you hear about layoffs all the time, companies getting shuttered completely, just people losing jobs, and they can't do anything about it. So it's a really, I think the fact they've done it now as well, just after this news, is a power play from them, because now you just have to wait and see what Microsoft does in response. But if you ask me, it really does put Xbox and Microsoft in a very unique position where they can change the industry considerably.
Absolutely.
If they support this, you know, if Microsoft, who we know is a dominant force considering how much they shelled out for Activision Blizzard, supports unionization in the industry, that's huge. And for Microsoft as well, in terms of their image, that'd be huge for them as well. I think they're in a very unique position at this point because of this. Whether they capitalize on it or not, that's something I don't think we can predict at this moment in time. I think history would dictate probably not. They probably wouldn't support it, but then again, we live in very strange times. So who knows? Hopefully they'll support.
Yeah, that's an understatement of the year. So Pete, what do you think? Do you agree with Andrew? Do you want to expand on that? What is the motivating factor of Microsoft shelling out $69 billion in
Close to 69.
Yeah, nice.
You just want to say 69 because you just, I know what you're
I don't
doing.
know, Pete.
You
That's where your mind went.
You went there.
I did.
Anyway.
But yes, what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with Andrew. It's mainly about the IPs for sure. Like Activision Blizzard, like, as toxic as the culture is there at the moment, they're still producing like ridiculously decent IPs. This is not really getting into the long and short of it. They've got Game Pass for PC, so chucking World of Warcraft on there is going to be something massive for them. That centers some corner of the MMO market, which they haven't really been able to do yet. They'll have Call of Duty on Game Pass, which will be massive for them as well, because I know plenty of people who are on Xbox who buy that game every year, who are now just going to turn around and go, 15 quid a month, all right, there's my COD fix, sorted. What a lot of people are now starting to mention, and this wasn't mentioned as much, but part of the deal includes King, which is a massive mobile developer with probably the 4th biggest game on the App Store with Candy Crush. That's another center of the gaming market that they're going to want to tap into massively, especially after Take-Two had just purchased Zynga.
We are going to touch on that here in just a second. It's actually...
I haven't seen your document, but I must know.
You're there, though. But Oodles, as you come in with a little different of a point of view, what do you think is the motivating factor for Microsoft purchasing Activision?
Power, mainly. I think it's a move that it's like as Xbox, since the Xbox One, these new series consoles, since Game Pass has become a thing, it seems like Xbox is now all about securing their future. Because think of it. What's the killer IP that Xbox have got? It's Halo, isn't it?
Right. Yes, 100%.
So they know that platform is designed for shooters. The pad's designed for shooters.
Yeah.
Activision, shooters. It's a power play. It's a move. There are positives, because I believe that they are going to this horrendous thing that they've had for the past year at Activision Blizzard's that not resolved, because nothing will ever get resolved like that. But moves are going to take. Microsoft's a massive. They're always under the scrutiny, so that they're going to be protected in a way. And there's a good thing and a negative about this, in my opinion. The good thing is now Activision Blizzard have got time and resources to do something different, because they've been resting on the laurels a little bit for the past decade.
Yes.
It's all been the same stuff.
Yes.
Now imagine Blizzard having the time to. Do you know what, Blizzard? We're going to let you do a single-player role-playing game. Or we're going to let you do this. We're going to let Activision do just a story campaign of COD. Make it longer. Do you know what I mean?
Wow, yeah.
I think it's going to give them a bit of breathing room.
Yeah, that was one thing that I did see, actually, a lot of people mentioning was, are they going to have annual Call of Duty games anymore, or are they going to be once every 2 or 3 years?
Well, if they were clever, in my opinion, they'd drop a single, like, Warzone. They'd drop a Warzone update every year or quarterly, and then the major COD release is your single-player campaign plus your death matches, your original stuff that people love to come back to. But Warzone is your platform, like Fortnite, to just that's your bed for it. Yeah. I think that's how they should do it. But then again, I'm not a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, I think especially with Call of Duty, like Call of Duty's needed to go to the bi-yearly release schedule for a while now, if you ask me. Especially when they have Warzone now, like, it doesn't make sense to me why they have Warzone and still releasing new COD every year, because Warzone will surely satiate that need to play COD on top of like the fact that they're like having seasons in normal Call of Duty now as well.
Yeah.
So why release it yearly if you actually...
It's the strange thing is in the main Call of Duty the main Call of Duty drops that they're doing, the disc version, let's say, that battle pass is Warzone battle pass still. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So they know which side the bread's buttered.
Yeah.
So something will change.
Yeah.
But Ciaran, to answer your question, the reason why they release annual releases is because every year in the NPD charts, they're always number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
And that's always the previous year's game as well, coming number 2. It's ridiculous.
But the thing is, I've been seeing. I think everyone's been seeing growing sentiment from long-time Call of Duty fans that changes need to be made. Yes. I'm pretty sure the player base has been, steadily, not like sharply declining, but like they've been losing players
Oh yes, yes, they
and
have. Very
from,
much.
from people I know that play Call of Duty, they say it's just like
Yeah.
I think the last good one, I think the last one my friend said was actually quite good, but my friends playing Call of Duty for years said this
The
one.
Modern Warfare one was good. The newer
Yeah.
one.
Oh
And-
yeah, the 2019 version.
Yeah, that was really good.
Especially as well, like in the competitive scene, there was the whole thing when Halo released that a bunch of like professional COD players were just leaving Call of Duty to join Halo's esports because Halo esports was kicked off almost instantaneously. Whereas Call of Duty, they're still waiting on it. But yeah, no, I think it'd be a really good move to push Call of Duty every 2 years, because then one thing I saw as well is, there's this whole idea Microsoft they've been pushing as well that they're all about creativity. Imagine that given the Call of Duty developers, i.e. Treyarch, imagine giving them more time and saying, listen, how about you guys make something you want to make instead of a COD? Imagine, think about that. Think about these companies that you're really just known for COD, being able to make something new, and it's that way. It's so exciting because, again, all you've really known from them in past years is Call of Duty. So imagine what they could create. We don't know.
Treyarch might want to make a Picross game. You never know.
Yeah, and,
exactly.
And bearing in mind the culture there was
with that.
always the fact that it was having to be Call of Duty every year, all the time, and you have studio heads from Infinity Ward and from Treyarch going off to create Respawn so that they can create their own game. What they actually really wanted to create.
And look how good Titanfall 2 was.
Yeah, and as well,
you've got to look at Apex Legends as well.
Even outside the Respawn shooters, but Jedi Fallen Order is exceptional.
There you go.
I adored it.
Yeah, love it.
So, Ciaran, do you think that we will see a live service game from Activision Blizzard?
Well, I mean, they've already got right. I think it'd be wise of Microsoft to double down on or Activision Blizzard and Microsoft to double down on World of Warcraft. I see you come from, Pete. I don't see World of Warcraft going to Game Pass because really they need to add like expansions to it. Similar to the way Destiny 2 is free, but then added the expansions to Game Pass, it'd be like that.
Exactly,
That's
my thinking.
kind of what I meant. Really.
Yeah.
They might drop the subscription service for it because they've already got that included as part of Game Pass, like the monthly fee, but having the ability to buy the upgrades.
They could do the Final Fantasy 14 method where you can level up to a certain amount and then pay for it.
And then have long queues where you can't even get into the game.
Yeah.
And that.
But in terms of live service, see, in my head, the one they could maybe work with that, and the one they really should be looking at and saying there's opportunity here, Overwatch 2 is something they need to double down. They need to do that well. In terms of the competitive scene, in terms of just gameplay as well, everything, because in PC especially, and with esports, Riot Games is only getting stronger. You look at Valorant, which is their team shooter, which is a team shooter more in the style of CS:GO than it is Overwatch, but a team shooter nonetheless. Overwatch, by design, is just more accessible than Valorant, which already puts that in a poor position because you can have it in console and PC. But especially when it comes to esports, like Blizzard has the benefit over Riot in terms of they are more mainstream. They release their stuff on more platforms. Riot's starting to with like the little solo projects, but Blizzard with Microsoft behind them now, they really need to double down on PC and competitive. And I think Overwatch is something in terms of live service. I think Overwatch is something they add on to over time. Well, what definitely, because I think when I saw the announcement of Overwatch 2, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are the same. When they saw Overwatch 2 announced, I thought Overwatch 1 was a live service game.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, like they're adding new characters all the time. I thought, what's the point in making a second one? You can just build on it.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah.
I think.
And they said they were Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, they were saying that Overwatch 2's they're having a full like story campaign or something, weren't they, as well? So that's the reason why they went to sequel rather than add-on.
Yeah, and they also wanted all Overwatch 1 content to be playable with Overwatch 2 as well, and it was like,
so don't buy Overwatch 1.
Yeah, it's messy.
Hopefully, those
very strange.
Okay, so Andrew, back to you. Okay, here we go. According to Newzoo, which is like a gaming like stats site, I think, their 2021 global games market report, consoles only accounted for $50.4 billion, or 28% of the overall market share of the games market. So that means mobile, which includes tablets and phones, is 52%, which is insane to me, but 52% of the global share, or $93.2 billion. Do you think that's going to have an impact with where Microsoft takes their Activision IPs? Because I know that Activision wanted, Diablo to succeed on mobile. Yeah.
You not have a mobile phone.
Exactly. So do you think that they are going to support Activision or push Activision into a more mobile direction?
Yeah, I mean they'll definitely support them. I mean they're already going full on mobile, right? They've got King,
yes.
they've got Call of Duty Mobile,
Yes.
they've got Diablo coming, of course. So they'll support them in doing that, and I think it's in their best interest to do that. And then it also means that perhaps they can use that experience to bring more Microsoft IP to mobile gaming.
Right.
But on top of that, they have xCloud as well, right? So they can get
That's
people
correct.
to play all of these other games via mobile. So they're obviously, you can see what they're doing. They're trying to get involved in as many different parts of the market as possible. They've got
That's
Xbox,
it.
they've got PC, they've got cloud gaming. They're going for mobile. Like what? I don't know what the next thing is. Are they just going to buy Stadia? I don't know.
I was going to say VR. VR is the next bit.
VR. There you go. That's one thing they don't do. Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
They've got Bethesda, so it means they can run Skyrim on a smart fridge, so that's good.
Oh, goodness.
Well, yeah. And Doom.
Oh, good. Oh, goodness, you're on Doom on anything. But, so, Oodles, kind of the same thing for you. What do you feel like, since mobile gaming, again, that includes tablets and phone, is actually bigger market share than, let's say, consoles, do you think that's going to have an influence on what we see in the, in the future coming out of Activision specifically?
Yeah, I do. I mean, full disclaimer: I sell phones for a living, so I'm a firm believer in the mobile market, and I am a mobile gamer.
All right.
So, it does. What I've noticed in the past 3-4 years, the difference between iOS and Android is minimum now.
Right.
There's barely any difference. You get the same games on everything.
Yep.
They've both got their own little passes and Google Play Pass and Apple Arcade and all that.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a renaissance of a mobile gaming war, which is only good for us.
Right.
And the fact that you now can get Razer keys and stuff like that, you can.
right.
Do you know what I mean? I think this is a good thing, and they should push it, because as much as no one wants to admit it, it probably is the future.
Yeah.
I think in the next decade we're going to see less and less monolithic boxes under us TVs, and we're going to be aiming more towards smaller devices, like you see on TV and films, sci-fi and stuff. They don't have massive PlayStation 5s under the telly. They have tiny little devices.
That's tablets.
Do you know what I mean? And VR and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of VR, but I can see where it's going to go. But yeah, I think it's huge. The fact that they've got King. My mother is current. She's not a gamer, but she is on level 5,050 odd on Candy Crush. She has spent a lot of money on Candy Crush.
People are
This is
crazy
huge.
about
This
it.
is for me. This is bigger than Activision Blizzard. that they've got that. It's such a huge. Like they've had the foray in mobile of Microsoft, and they failed.
Right.
The Microsoft
that's right.
Lumia phones were shocking.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
they were really bad. But is this them stepping back in the ring? And I love to see it in my business, especially. So I think it's huge moves. I think secretly, Microsoft are now happy that no one's really chatting that much about King. Let's keep Activision Blizzard thing. That's a nice thing, but as real evil is buying King,
Right.
and we're going to sneak underneath and become the big mobile platform we want to be.
I mean, they are absolutely positioned to do that.
They could destroy. They could crush.
They could. They could Candy Crush the competition.
That's it.
But Pete, kind of same exact thing. I mean, 52% of the market share is mobile. That blew my mind. I mean, I've been told that because I've been in media for like the last 15 years, and I've been told that. I was told that 10 years ago, and I fought against it. I was like, no. I'm developing for browsers. I'm not developing for mobile. Get it out. Get away from me. But it's now 52% of the market share. Pete, what do you think with this acquisition, especially King, obviously?
Look, it's a massive market share to have mobile phones and tablets on the market. And like Andrew and Oodles have rightly put before me, you know, you've got xCloud, you've got King being acquired, you know, it's a huge market. There's also a statement that was made by Phil Spencer a couple of years ago where he said he wanted to corner the Japanese market, which are the biggest market for mobile phones. So this would be the perfect way to start the infiltration.
Yeah, if he can secure Japan, India, China, they've won.
Yeah,
That's it. They've won. They've won.
The war is over, Microsoft.
The war is over.
There you go. You know, you don't need to have a war at that point. So this is definitely, like, with everything that they're setting up in terms of their infrastructure, this is the way that they're targeting the Japanese audience more so, probably more so than anything, not in the way that everyone thought it was, which was the Xbox Series S.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Series S is doing very, very well over in Japan, which is really surprising, but they haven't really got that killer app or that killer like game to actually push to the Japanese market.
Apparently, they're all playing Final Fantasy 14 on the Series S.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So,
which is
pretty
cool.
You know, you're gonna need. I think at this point, you're gonna need to do something to target them specifically. You know, and Candy Crush could be a way of doing it, or any number of Xbox properties that they could develop into a mobile property. Mm-hmm. You know. What's to say that the next Gears Tactics isn't a mobile game?
Or Halo
Wars 3.
Okay.
Halo Wars 3 or
That's
something
actually,
like that.
I was gonna actually mention that to Ciaran, which was there used to be a Halo mobile game. Do you think that we will see a revision of let's say Halo specifically on mobile platform?
I think there's things
There's guaranteed.
There's things that work in mobile and there's things that don't. Like I think one of the most recent things I saw was this Gears, like Gears Pop. That was it. Gears Pop.
It was so good.
Oh gosh,
I loved it.
I loved it for all of like a week.
Yeah, same.
And then I was like, and it's like you just come to realization like, what am I doing just now? What am I working towards here? And I'm like,
what am I doing?
Really?
Yeah.
That's when you stop. And I think there is certain games that work in mobile and certain ones that don't.
Yes.
Gears Tactics, no. XCOM style thing. It'd be really cool to see. But see, right, on that note though, right, Halo Wars 3, so strategy games.
Okay, here we go.
Let's branch with strategy games. Strategy games can work. And if mobile is going to become more prominent in the coming years, I think another thing we need to pay attention to is the fact that when this acquisition went through, or when the news of it came out, at least Microsoft in a statement said they specifically mentioned cloud gaming, and this is the thing that a lot of people have been talking about, especially on mobile. Right, you can already play Halo and stuff on mobile via the cloud.
That's correct.
Could we see in future years a Xbox Game Pass for mobile?
Yes.
We have one individual for PC. We have one for Xbox. Could we get one for mobile?
That's the ecosystem would include.
Yeah,
mobile.
Stuff like Candy Crush on there. You just get a whole bunch of mobile games and also Xbox stuff on there.
Solitaire.
Yeah, with no adverts and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to make the big prediction now. I know. I'm putting my reputation out there. By 2025, we're going to have a Halo card game on mobile.
Ooh.
Trading card game.
Write it down. Write it down.
Yeah.
Halo trading card game on iOS and Android. Yeah, like similar to Gwent, but more in line of Hearthstone.
Yeah,
guess who made Hearthstone?
I was thinking more
X
whatever, the one that did the
XCOM.
Thank you, XCOM. I was thinking more like that,
And Andrew, what you saying there as well?
Oh, did we just? I think we just got a follower, by the way. Thank you, Jonathan. And Jonathan
Thanks,
has
Jonathan, yeah.
entered the chat, and thank you for your subscription.
Stranger danger, a wild Jonathan. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Excellent.
But
Yeah.
moving. Oh, Kieran, do you have anything more to add to that?
Oh no, I think
I
I'm
cut
just
you
going
off?
to say something. That's what I
Oh,
was.
sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I was literally just going to say, like, kind of adding a mobile Game Pass would just be
Yes.
all they need in order to increase the regular Game Pass. So you could get Game Pass Ultimate that now includes PC and mobile, and they'll increase it to like $15.99
Yes,
or something.
that's exactly what they're going to do.
Exactly what they'll do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure Kylie has a question about this, but I've got a feeling there's going to be some serious price increase happen soon enough on Game Pass.
We're
Yeah.
okay.
See,
Mhm.
See,
Go ahead.
can I?
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Just the card game stuff, right? I love my card game stuff, right? Currently, I'm obsessed with Riot's one, which is Legends in Runeterra, which is the best I've played. Now, I even played I played Hearthstone. It's one I kept going back to and jumping off of. I even played ZeniMax / Bethesda's Elder Scrolls one.
Oh
when
my
it died.
gosh.
It was good, but it died because
It died.
there was just, like, there's nothing like too original about it, I'd say. But see on the note of a Halo card game, right? If you ever played Halo Wars 2, there was a card element of Halo Wars 2 which is very
Yes,
strange.
there was.
And they actually had really cool art, so they actually have the things there. There was some really cool card art for the card stuff in Halo Wars 2. So I think that'd be a really cool thing to do if they'd done
As
it.
I
But they
said,
need
a
to do it.
solid prediction, and my reputation is on the line.
And one thing I did put down in my notes was in the Riot versus Activision stuff, right? Hearthstone's player count, kind of like in terms of overall users, in 2018 they logged over 100 million users, right? Which is probably it's gone up in like from 2018 probably, but this year, or should I say end of 2021, Riot announced that Legends of Runeterra reached 180 million. 180 million unique users. And for reference, Hearthstone came out in 2014. It took them 4 years to get 100 million. It took Legends of Runeterra just over a year to surpass them.
Just shows you, doesn't it?
It's one of many reasons that people are saying that Riot is becoming a dominant force in the PC gaming market. Which, in terms of it's even I mean, on top of the fact that they're also bringing out League of Legends MMO, which people are saying could compete with World of Warcraft, considering the popularity of League of Legends in the world and stuff.
So.
I don't think it can.
And Project Hell, that's clearly going to go up against things like Street Fighter, King of Fighters, and all that sort of stuff. As well.
Yeah.
So-
Trying to corner
Just
that
done that
market
League
too.
of Legends RPG as well, haven't they? On consoles.
Yeah.
So
So that's the thing, right? I'll try to get their little fingers everywhere right now in consoles, PC. Obviously PC's where they're at just now.
they are ones to watch.
But with Microsoft now having we don't know how much of a say they'll have in the Activision Blizzard properties like that are out just now. I think they really need to ramp up. Maybe not Hearthstone, but again potentially a new thing to combat LOR. Overwatch 2 could absolutely be a dominant esports game for them. As much as Halo esports and stuff like. I'm pretty sure Overwatch when it came out, that was very popular competitively, wasn't it?
Oh, it was,
Yeah.
2015.
I was
It's crazy.
hardcore player in the beginning.
Obviously, the fact that Overwatch 2 has been delayed so much hasn't probably helped the kind of potential of that, but it's yet to be seen.
Yeah, I think the thing is like the rise of Riot Games is more as the fact that there's been a hole left in the industry by the fact that Blizzard used to solely focus development on PC, but now are sort of diluting their platforms a little bit by developing on consoles. So, and we can't say whether or not that was Blizzard's decision. That's probably Activision's in that respect.
Definitely.
But they were dominant on PC back in the early 2000s.
Yes.
You had StarCraft, you had so many properties there, and I'm blanking on all of them because they were so vast. With having all those properties, like they didn't help themselves by going into console development, and like I said, probably Activision's decision to do so because they wanted to reach more people. But you buy a company for their strong points, and that's probably what Activision should have done. And this is what I think Microsoft are now going to do. Is I reckon, and this is a prediction, I'll put my reputation on the line here as much as Oodles does, is that Activision and Blizzard are going to split, and they're going to be completely independent of each other. And I think Blizzard will probably go back to developing PC games.
Well,
It makes sense. I can see it.
Pete,
It would be smart. It would be smart.
yeah.
Yeah, because Activision were always their teams were always focused on console development from their very humble beginnings, like back in the early '80s or mid '80s. You know, and they wanted to
Arcades
spend
first, then consoles.
for sure, yeah. And then they brought Blizzard to try and focus on the PC market, but then ended up screwing them over by moving them onto console development and pushing PC aside. That was a bad move, for them. And I think the only way that they can go and make this actually positive again is to have Blizzard working on PC games.
Well,
Because all those properties, they even put it in the announcement tweet. They put StarCraft front and center.
People are begging for more StarCraft though.
Yeah,
Oh,
StarCraft
Crying
3.
for it.
Yeah,
That was-
imagine StarCraft 3, Game Pass PC in 2026. What a prospect that would be.
Yeah, but you know what they're going to do? They're also going to put it on console, and you're going to have to play StarCraft with a pad.
Oof,
see,
no.
that would be
It's going to be horrendous.
that would be nearly
Give it
impossible.
StarCraft Ghost.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get that
I
ghost
didn't want to
on.
be reminded of that,
Pete, here's a targeted question for you.
though. Oh, great.
But now that they've acquired, or Microsoft has acquired, Blizzard Entertainment, which is, esports heavy, do you think that we're going to see any fighting games come out of Microsoft now?
No. Unfortunately, Microsoft have not been very focused on fighting games their entire run
Never.
of consoles.
Not a chance.
Never.
It took them until the launch of the Xbox One for them to remember they had Killer Instinct. And
Which was
it was a game.
atrocious.
The 2013 version apparently wasn't bad, but I've never been a big fan of it. Killer Instincts 1 and 2 were always better.
Yeah.
Very different Rare, of course, at that time, but
Very,
well,
very different.
and Rare didn't develop that game, but they have one fighting game property, and the only other one that they now have in their midst is a StarCraft-based one. So, yeah, there's not much prospect there from Microsoft to develop a good fighting game, unfortunately.
Do you think
They have the properties available for it.
Right, exactly.
Xbox All Stars.
Was just about to say that they've now got the potential for Master Chief, Marcus Phoenix,
Master Chief beats everyone.
Diva
Banjo-Kazooie.
or whoever, Banjo to come in for a PlayStation
Minecraft.
style, Battle Royale style.
Minecraft
Steve.
Steve, yeah.
Yeah,
Spyro.
they've got far too many. They could create the greatest crossover.
It's also a
fighting
good
game of all
shout. That
time.
could happen. That could happen.
I tell you what, right? If they were to do it, please make it a 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 Marvel vs. Capcom style fighting game. That would be insanely cool.
I mean, see, honestly, I would love to see Soap McTavish fight Doom Guy.
Yes, yes. I mean, they could also make an all-star shooter game as well, couldn't they?
See, I could
An arena shooter.
An arena shooter or a Rainbow Six Extraction style game where it's free.
Banjo comes
teams
out
are
with a
free.
shotgun.
Yeah.
I'd be on board for that. Oh, and they own Crash now too, as well.
Spyro.
Yeah.
And
They
Spyro.
yeah.
They could have the
Oh.
ultimate 3D platformer
gosh.
crossover.
Yes.
Yeah, see the fighting game thing though, right? Does Microsoft or Xbox not have quite a good relationship with Warner Brothers?
They do.
Okay.
They do have a very good relationship with them.
Right.
So
Yeah,
they
but
don't get the
again,
injustice.
Exactly.
Out.
Exactly.
Never
Yeah,
help.
no, but
Oh
Yeah,
my
Warner-
gosh,
Warner,
yes.
Warner Brothers are they're gonna want too much money from that. And you do considering that they might actually be able to form a new team for that rather than actually licensing out to someone. That seems like a better prospect for Microsoft.
Yeah.
no, the other thing I was thinking of is of course we've had. I'm pretty sure it's still on there. Injustice 2 was on Game Pass. I think it still is. Mortal Kombat 11 is on
Yep.
Game
Mhm.
Pass.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
So we've seen more and more Warner Brothers games show up on there. I mean,
Yeah,
no,
Yeah,
They
I
had Shadow
say
of
no-
Mordor and stuff as well, didn't they?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shadow of War,
That's
I believe, was Was it a launch title for
I think
something
so.
on
Think so.
Xbox? I know they promoted it on the Xbox system,
Yeah,
and it was
they
promoted
did,
as one of the first smart delivery games. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so as I'm saying that because I mean we know that Injustice 3 is happening. Injustice 3 will be happening at some
can't wait.
point. We don't know when. I see if we get a review this year, I will die. But
I'm
Injustice
wondering
3,
whether or not it's going to be Injustice 3 first or Mortal Kombat 12.
no, it's
Injustice.
it's
I know they chop and change between the two, but I'm just not sure at this point.
I mean, Mortal Kombat 11. I don't know how well it's doing, but Mortal Kombat 11,
They've just done the aftermath, haven't they?
yeah, they brought out story content for that and stuff. They've not
Mhm.
done that for Injustice game yet. I think there's so much possibility in Injustice game, especially considering DC is arguably more mainstream than Mortal Kombat. They
Yeah.
could get so many more
Nowadays,
people in
yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
You've got to think about TV and film at the moment. You've got Peacemaker, you've got Justice League stuff, you've got Batman coming, and then you've got all these DC games that are coming out.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It could be the year of DC.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Marvel proved by doing that in 2010 with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They basically pretty much put out in the roster exactly who was coming in the next 10 years, and every single one of those characters has now had a movie.
Yeah, they spoiled it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, see,
yeah, you put Dormammu in a fighting game roster, you're like, what? What a choice! And then he
Isn't-
appears 5 years later in Doctor Strange.
Isn't She-Hulk
Yeah.
coming to like Avengers or something?
They've got
Yeah.
they've got a TV series coming for She-Hulk.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, exactly. They've telegraphed it already because they put her in
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, one of them.
But that's,
I mean,
that's what I mean. Like they pretty much had laid all their cards on the table and went, yeah, this is promotion, this is advertisement, and Capcom were just like, yeah, we want cool characters in our roster.
And what were you saying?
I mean, see,
Kieran?
be fair, there's some days I wish I wake up in a parallel universe where NetherRealm actually make a Marvel Injustice game, not a DC
Oh,
one. So you have DC
God.
versus Capcom.
Wishful thinking.
Oh,
Nah.
Listen, that's the dream. That's the dream. Even
It
for
will
the
always
day,
be
No,
Capcom.
no,
It will always be Capcom.
No, Capcom have always absolutely slapped with the Marvel games, even from Children of the Atom. Children of the Atom's fantastic.
oh gosh, yeah.
Apart from the Infinity one that I didn't really
Oh
like
yeah, like it played well. It's
that.
just
It did.
it played really well. It's just it was
It's weird.
tarnished by weird graphics and some very bad decisions on
The
their
Infinity
end.
Gem system that they invented.
Well, they had that in Marvel Superheroes, but
They
it
did,
was done
they did.
really well in Marvel Superheroes, whereas in Infinite it just didn't work.
Well, I am going to transition us here to a more serious tone.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
You know it's inevitable. And Andrew, I'll start with you. As we switch, I know.
It feels like you're getting all the hard questions here.
I know. It does, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. But Bobby Kotick. Or Kotick, I don't know.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ew.
We all universally boo him. He has been quoted as saying that he just was in a meeting 2 days ago, by the way. So this is all based on his meeting from 2 days ago. Has been quoted as saying the transition is going to be smooth. Transition from Activision to Microsoft for our listeners out there. Because Microsoft is committed to trying to retain as many of our people as possible. It should be noted that he said this during a fireside chat meeting, which was supposed to last half an hour. It lasted 16 minutes, where he showed up late and left early.
Really earning that annual paycheck.
Yeah.
He also said, I can tell you that my commitment to the company is to remain in my role. Once
No poo, obviously.
Yeah. Once the deal closes, what I've committed to Microsoft is I will stay as long as is necessary to ensure that we have a great integration and great transition. So, Andrew, do you think Kotick's continued presence, does it harm the view of the deal, to the people that are buying games, the audience itself that are purchasing these games? Do you think it's going to harm it? Do you think Microsoft will suffer as a result? And do you think they will bow down to public opinion? What are your thoughts?
Yes, it's definitely going to harm public perception. That guy should have gone the moment they announced they were buying. I understand from a business perspective that he's been running the company and therefore is in the best position possible to help it run until everything is complete. However, that hasn't stopped people leaving before and other people replacing them in the middle of this kind of thing. And with somebody like Bobby Kotick, Boo, I'm going to say Boo after his name every time I say it.
Yes.
It's just he's so central to all of the problems that they're having. It's not all him. It's a culture in that's in those companies that are being bought, and multiple men across those companies have been accused of horrible things. There's the Bill Crosby Club or something.
The
Bill
Cosby
Cosby
Suite.
Suite.
Cosby Suite. That's it.
It's disgusting.
Horrible.
Absolutely horrific stuff, and he's at the center of it, and he's refusing. The fact that he refuses to step down at all and goes, no, give me a chance to fix it. Well, you've sold the company now.
Yep.
That kind of, that's part of fixing it. Go. So basically, Microsoft, if they want to be taken seriously that they're going to be dealing with this, they need to be getting rid of him as soon as possible. I kind of, at this point, don't think he's going to go until the deal's done. But if he's not gone within weeks of that deal being done, then Microsoft have just kind of lost any credibility that they're going to fix the issues there. So they either have to get rid of him now and find a way to make it work without him, or they have to get rid of him as soon as the deal is done. But the problem is that they can't really fire him unless they have actual evidence to show that things have been done. And obviously it's an ongoing investigation. There's lots of things happening. So unless that comes to a close before everything happens, then they can't. And the problem is if they let him go, as a result of buying the company, I don't know if anybody else saw this, but there was a leaked document that showed how much Bobby gets paid.
I wanted to mention this, but go on.
Yeah, absolutely horrific. If he gets let go because of the acquisition of the company, he is, with no fault of his own, he is due almost $300 million as a payment to leave.
Now, I thought it was the case that if they let him go now, he earns about tens of thousands of dollars. Whereas if he goes after the acquisition is fully complete, it's $248 million. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge windfall. No wonder he wants to stick around.
Of course, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think the simple thing is if I know Phil Spencer's a smart man, and if he wants to get people to be on his side, I mean, a lot of people are. That he's somewhat of a genius. He would be a hero, a cultural hero, if he just fires him.
I already
people would love
Phil
him even
Spencer.
more.
I say I already
He comes
love
out
him,
with his
but-
jacket on and his t-shirt, and he's got "You're fired" under his jacket.
Oh my gosh!
That would be amazing, but
I would never leave my
bureaucracy gets in the way.
so that's the thing. Phil is a smart man, like you've just mentioned before. You know full well that the amount of money that guy would take you to court for wrongful dismissal would be ridiculous. So he's got to find a reason. And I think
I'd
Andrew's
like to see
right
the
in
jury
this
side with him. To be fair,
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I think Andrew's right. Like they can't get rid of him until this investigation is fully completed and it's proven that he's done wrong, because then they have grounds for a proper dismissal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but we've got to let the court do what it does. And
yes,
I
trust
have
in the
no
American
faith-
justice system.
I was gonna say I have no faith in that legal system because it can be bought and paid for. So
Yeah, exactly. Ciaran, what do you think about Phil and his relationship with Bobby? Because they both appeared on CNBC to talk about money matters. Do you think Phil hates him? Please say yes. I don't want to influence your answer, but yes.
I would love to think that Phil just wants to punch that man in his face several times.
He could take him as well.
He could.
he's ripped.
Did you see
Yeah, he
his
could take
bicep?
him.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I think by all accounts, everything Phil Spencer's done is just set him up as a nice guy.
Yeah.
He really is.
Like he's not a flawless human being. We're not saying if he was a flawless human being, then there's clearly
Yeah.
something suspect there. But like everything Phil's done has been phenomenal. What he's done for Xbox since the absolute disaster that was Xbox One's been great. Even if they're still underselling compared to PlayStation, but that's something I'm sure I'll be able to bring up later. But on top of that, like, I'm pretty sure there's a podcast Phil was on before this news where he was talking about it, like Activision Blizzard. He was asked
Mhm.
about it and the culture, and he came out and he said, you know, us at Xbox over the years, we haven't been perfect. You know, it
Mhm.
says, you know, like, we're no stranger to like stuff like this happening as well. And the point is, for years we've been trying to make amends for this.
Mhm.
And so the fact that he willing to admit something like that and recognise it, I'm confident that he will, first of all, do his best to ensure that culture in Activision Blizzard is a thing of the past as soon as
Mhm.
possible. No, don't know how long that'll take. And if that's true, he will get Kotick gone as soon as he can.
I hope so. I try not to let my personal opinions influence roundtables, but I hope so. On this one, I just can't. I can't hide it. Kotick is
At this point, what Kotick's doing is playing Monopoly. What he's done is he's done a strategy. He's gone to jail. He's sitting there, not rolling doubles to get out. He's just sitting letting the money accrue.
He's doing
and
this.
play.
He's twiddling his fingers.
Oh,
He's just waiting.
And then 3 turns when he's inevitably out of jail, he'll have more money than he would have.
I don't even care. Just get rid of him. Give him. I don't care.
Yeah. But what they would probably say in this one is the need for business continuity.
Yeah.
Probably.
I hate that term, by the way.
Let's see, Pete. Before we move to the second half, because we've been talking for quite a while,
Okay.
do you want to touch in with chat and if anybody wants to stretch their legs or take a pause?
So we've had a couple of comments from Jonathan, who's been talking in the chat. Says, I think there is a price increase. I think if there is a price increase, it will happen with the fiscal year start through maybe not until 2023, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just say the name that cannot be said instead of Voldemort. Just put some.
I like
Just
that.
put some Omicron on these $300 million bills and call it a day. Perfect. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Germ warfare.
Isn't that the plot to The Division?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is!
This is coming from good Christian man Jonathan wanting to infect someone with Omicron.
Well,
Bobby Kotick deserves it, okay? I'm just going to say it.
Some people are demons on Earth.
Yeah.
We must have
for
wrote that stipulation into the contract for the buyout to Microsoft.
It wouldn't surprise me. He's a crafty fellow. He really is. He's so slippery. Oof. Ugh.
He also said there's nothing to hold back from Kiley. I don't know anyone that is pro Kotick.
Oh my gosh.
The only person that's pro Kotick is Kotick himself.
Yeah.
Oh, his wife.
Yeah.
And maybe
Does
J.
he have
Allen Brack
Oh
back
my
in the day.
gosh. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
Let's not forget that J. Allen Brack was also a scumbag.
That's not.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just because he's gone doesn't mean he's not an arse.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Also, Squash Pickle said, and Squash Pickle, because I was mentioning that mostly Jonathan. But
Oh,
I did
yes.
say hello to Jonathan in the chat, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that's it. Apart from Jonathan saying he's never played the Division.
Oh, you should.
Oh yeah, you
good
should.
game.
Division was good.
Yeah.
I haven't played it either, but
And you already know the plot of it now.
cool.
Yeah.
Global pandemic. Yeah, I know the plot of it anyway. I did look good, but I wasn't into looter shooters at the time. But now I've played Destiny.
It's even good single player. It's good single player. Don't worry about it. Just play it.
Oh,
What-
Jonathan, that is terrible. You are terrible. You're awful.
I kind of can't see.
I am more of a
I'm more of a
multiplication
Oh,
guy instead of division.
I'm not even reading the comic.
Don't do it. Don't give him justice on that one.
Let's move on to the next part.
Okay, here we go. We're going into the second half. Thank you so much to our watchers and listeners who have hung in there. And of course, thank you to our panel. I've loved all of your answers. They've been great, well thought out. So I love these. I'm a dork and I love these. So we're going to move on to everyone's favorite thing. And I'm going to start with Oodles on this one. It's a targeted question. Time to talk
Cheers now.
exclusives.
Yeah.
So
Tony fan himself, yeah.
I will set this up with a little bit of Bethesda stuff. So we know after the Bethesda acquisition, which was only about a year ago, by the way, which just blows my mind. There was a lot of talk about Starfield being exclusive or not to the Xbox, obviously. It was later revealed at E3 that it was, in fact, exclusive to the Xbox and PC Game Pass ecosystem thing. Pete Hines, who is Senior VP at Bethesda, said, and on the subject of developing games for fewer console platforms, he said, well, I'm here to tell you, and any dev will tell you this, if you go to fewer platforms for your development, it gets more streamlined. You're not worrying about how does it work on this box versus how does it work on that box. We're not making it on that box, so it just needs to run well as possible on this one, on a PC. You know, narrow the focus, it always helps. Phil Spencer has said, I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and our desire to keep Call of Duty specifically on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry, and we value our relationship with them. So, Oodles, having heard both what Bethesda, which is a studio that was acquired by Microsoft last year, and what Phil Spencer himself has said, what do you think the future of Call of Duty is as an exclusive on the Xbox ecosystem?
I think that's a pipe dream. There's absolutely no way on Earth 1, which we are currently in,
Yes.
we will not see an exclusive Call of Duty.
Right, okay.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's a cash cow. It always has been. This is why they release it annually, and this is why they have Warzone. This is why they have the weird Battle Pass system.
Yes.
There's absolutely no way. It's stupid. They are throwing money away, literally burning it to not put it on PlayStation, not put it on. I mean, if they could, they'd have it on Switch. I'm telling you now.
Oh, yeah.
They would.
I actually agree with that.
Yeah, the market share for Call of Duty is mostly on the PlayStation ecosystem.
Yeah, you think of, like, and I'm not talking about people in the gaming industry or people that play games constantly, nerds basically. You ask any random 100 people on the street, name a couple of games, they'll say Grand Theft Auto. They'd say Call of Duty.
Absolutely.
And they'd probably say, I don't know, Tomb Raider, just something random.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you're gonna get. It's Halo, maybe they'll say Halo, but there's not. It's just not gonna happen. And the fact that some of these contracts are the decades long. So even if it was going to happen, it's not going to happen for a long time. Well, they have like 10 title contracts up until you know what I mean. Whenever
that's the part.
It's not going to happen. You're not going to see it.
Well, that's the part I really wanted to point out was that Phil Spencer said our intent to honor all existing agreements. Do you think that's a loophole?
There are loopholes. There's like my dear friend Stig in the chat said timed exclusive.
Yes,
that could be a thing. That could be a thing. But that doesn't mean exclusive.
So Ciaran,
content exclusive. Like remember PlayStation used to get the maps first and they used to get certain ways. It could be reversed.
They have that contract at the moment with PlayStation. They actually had it back in the day on the 360 with Xbox.
Yeah, I was going to say Xbox
could be reversed.
Have it, yeah. I
was going to say, Ciaran, what were your thoughts on this?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the fact that it was even being discussed that Call of Duty is going to be
ridiculous,
exclusive, absolute nonsense. It was a joke. Like why? Like if the whole point here is right because you've got juxtaposing arguments here, right? People saying, "Oh, they're going to make Call of Duty exclusive. This is bad." Oh, they're trying to monopolize industry. That's bad. But if they really wanted to monopolize industry, they would have their fingers everywhere. And removing Call of Duty from PlayStation and removing a bunch of things from PlayStation wouldn't make sense if that is the argument you're going for. Like,
did they stop Minecraft? They didn't stop Minecraft, did they?
No.
Exactly. Like, I just think the whole discourse has been all over the place. And something I'm sure that's maybe something you'll bring up later on, Kyle. I don't know what questions you have, but no, like the way I view Call of Duty for them now is right. Obviously, they were making Call of Duty money, which is not a small amount of money, as we're all aware.
Right.
Keep it on PlayStation. I say, keep giving PlayStation their maps first. I'd say that deal's fine. Yeah. But the biggest benefit they have to owning Call of Duty is it is one hell of a gateway drug to Game Pass.
Yes.
If they say
that's
that-
going to be the thing.
Yeah, if you can buy Call of Duty anywhere you want, folks, we'll give you Call of Duty anywhere. But if you get yourself an Xbox with Game Pass, get Call of Duty straight off the bat, and and on top of that, right? When I say gateway drug, I mean people maybe come for Call of Duty, right? They just casually play, and then they'll realise, hold on a minute, this game's on here. I'll try this out. Oh, I'll try this out. Oh, they move on to the harder stuff, and then boom, they're hooked on Xbox.
Yeah. That's how they're going to get them.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the same can be said for a lot of other Activision Blizzard properties. Again, if they make Overwatch 2, maybe not exclusive, but again, make it a Game Pass thing.
Yeah.
On PC and Xbox.
That's
There you go. There's another gateway drug for you, Overwatch 2, supposing it does well. 'Cause that's up in the air at this moment in time.
well.
Is it possible? Sorry, just a weigh in on this conversation
No,
slightly.
go for it.
Is it possible that Warzone stays multi-platinum, but Call of Duty single
Not a
player
chance.
does not?
Oh, like
People still buy discs. People still buy those discs.
yeah, you
crazy
think
to
about
me.
like as much as I mean, I'm pretty sure actually I was going to say like normal Call of Duties make probably make up bulk of the money, but I'm pretty sure Warzone actually makes
Yeah.
most of the COD money now, if I remember
Yeah.
right. Which is kind of absurd to me. I think that's kind of crazy. Considering it's a free game that is really microtransactions and battle passes.
Yeah.
Like,
People like skins.
yeah, it's mad to me that microtransactions can actually make that much.
That is,
You keep forgetting about it all the time, but then you see these numbers and you're like, it's crazy.
it
Hello.
is absolutely crazy. Well, Halo's
And
trying.
that's
They're
nothing
trying
as well. That's nothing. That's something I forgot.
with their cat
Why
ears.
would why would they have two exclusive first-person shooters in competition with each other?
Mhm.
It makes no
They
sense.
have an
Yeah,
exclusive
that's fine.
It
That's
make-
fair point. I was just playing devil's advocate more than anything,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah,
Well-
no, it's just when you mentioned Halo, I completely forgot the fact. Someone's going to bring up. They've got Halo. Why would they make their biggest competitor Halo exclusive as well when they could
Yeah.
just make more money having it in multiple platforms? They don't need an exclusive shooter. They have one.
That's true. Just look at MLB The Show,
Yeah.
developed by
Yeah.
PlayStation Studios on
Yeah.
Game
Yeah.
Pass.
Uh-huh.
You will get exclusive content. You will get a Master Chief skin on the Xbox version. Do you know what I mean? You
Oh,
will
yeah.
get this type of stuff, but it's nothing
Mhm.
in the
Yeah.
grand scheme
Yeah,
of
in the
things.
grand
It's
scheme.
nothing
Yeah, Marcus
Yeah,
Phoenix, playable character in the next
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
on a game that you don't actually see your character.
Oh,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
What do you think, Andrew?
My next question goes to Andrew. What do you think about that? But also, do you think that Microsoft is going to have any exclusives with Activision?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's too early to predict what those things will be, but yeah, Call of Duty probably not one of them. And listening to that conversation, actually, I'm thinking now the smartest move that Microsoft could do right now, because Call of Duty is like a huge install base of the more casual players, which are in their millions upon millions of people play Call of Duty, and
yes.
sometimes that's the only game they'll play.
Mhm.
For some people, the only other game apart from Call of Duty they'll play is FIFA. So
That's
if
right.
Microsoft now buys EA, because
God.
there's been rumors that EA is gonna go.
Or
to
Sony
somebody,
buys them.
That is
Or
my
Sony buys them.
next question.
Can you imagine if
so-
Microsoft bought EA as well, and suddenly
that's it.
they have
Game over.
FIFA and Call of Duty on Game Pass?
Well,
Done.
They technically
Now
do
that we're
kinda
there-
have that.
Yeah,
They do,
yeah,
kind
play,
of, yeah,
haven't
they
you?
do.
Yeah, you got
Yeah,
10-hour
yeah.
demos basically on
Yeah.
Game Pass through EA Access.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
go ahead.
no, I was going to say, just imagine, like, if they day one straight away, you don't even need to go to the shop to buy it. It's on Game Pass. You can install it.
The
You
beauty
can
of
get it
EA
earlier than everybody else.
Yeah, the beauty of EA is each country that they make games for, like Madden's bigger in America, so they've got that day one Game Pass. They've got this, they've got that. Smart money. That'd be a move.
Yeah,
That
That's
would be
for
a
sure.
move. Come on, Phil.
Yeah.
You know he listens. He listens.
I'm pretty sure the story I saw was that, because my friend's the one that actually told me about this, that the rumours were that or Sony in response are going to be buying EA or Ubisoft is the one I saw being thrown around.
Yes.
But I've seen that
then
thrown around a lot.
Yeah, but then I said to him, if that's going to happen, then why are Ubisoft then releasing Ubisoft Plus and the Xbox systems, which they announced?
Good point.
The smart money is for Sony to buy Capcom. That's the smart money.
So
Or Square Enix.
Or Square Enix. But I don't
Konami.
think they've got enough to buy Square Enix.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't think they do either. Maybe
They're not as
having,
big as
like,
Microsoft.
maybe buying shares in
That's
Square
exactly-
Enix might be a better
Yes.
option.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see them buying Konami. If you could buy Konami and get access to the Metal Gear
We
and
could
Silent
buy
Hill
Konami.
franchises.
Ooh.
Yeah, if they bought Konami and then just went, screw you, Konami, we're putting Hideo back on Metal Gear, that's going to be a killer.
Imagine. Actually, imagine though.
No.
Don't get me going this late in the afternoon.
Don't give me hope. I'm actually going to mildly disagree with Andrew here, unfortunately.
Alright.
I think there are
that's what
some
this
that
is all
are going to
about.
already. I think there are some that already earmarked for exclusives, and I think two of the biggest ones are probably the two of the biggest FUs to Sony that there is.
Go on.
Spyro and Crash.
Nah, let them.
I was
Take it. Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I mean
'cause,
they have moved on, but remember obviously that Crash was the original mascot for Sony.
He was the
and
mascot.
That
I
would be a
loved him.
huge power play for them to go.
Imagine
right,
that trailer where Crash comes out and that mask, that Ako mask comes on. It's just got Xbox on it.
Yeah.
Or
There you
imagine that they
go.
went with the whole marketing campaign that they did back in the day with the actual Crash Bandicoot outside Nintendo, but instead it's Sony.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would be more hilarious, to be honest.
Aw.
No,
Oh.
see 'cause that's an interesting thing, right? Because that's the two ones. That's again the two names I've seen thrown around in terms of like exclusive potential. That and another weird one. If anyone remembers Prototype.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've
back
seen
in
that
the-
thrown around.
Wow.
One I've
One
seen
and
thrown
two.
around. I think a reboot of Prototype would be so cool. But on the topic of Spyro and Crash, though, right? You look at Ratchet and Clank, and you know I think Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, Banjo Kazooie, Spyro and stuff. You know, you get to branch them under what some people call mascot games. As these
Yeah.
kind of mascot-ish characters. Microsoft doesn't really have too many at this point. At least they haven't released much.
It's got
And
Master
you look
Chief,
at-
haven't
I was
they?
gonna say Master
Yeah.
Chief is it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's
in
always
terms of
been their
kinda-
wheelhouse.
in terms of that adventure style kind of get mascot game,
Yeah.
like you look
Like
at the success
platformer
of Ratchet
type
and Clank. If they could emulate that success, like they've got two potential candidates. Crash, maybe. I mean I'm gonna. This might be a very controversial opinion. I think some of the best Crash Bandicoot games were ones in the PSP. Mind Over Monster.
Oh, so good, Mind of a Monster.
They were
So
exceptional.
good.
But if they could, I see if they rebooted that.
I think,
I'd buy that in a
honestly,
heartbeat.
Sony don't care. They've now got the new cute boy, Astrobot.
Yep.
He's the guy. Everyone
And
loves
Sack
Astrobot.
Boy.
And I love the fact that
Sackboy.
I do like the fact that Ciaran mentioned Jack and Daxter because I think Sony have forgotten
no.
about Jack and Daxter.
Well, Naughty Dog have for sure. Like
They forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they do anything. Do they
After
even
the
own
Jack and
the
Daxter
IP
racing
anymore, or
game
is
they
it
did.
just- Yeah.
Yeah, I love Jack and
God,
Daxter.
forget that.
The humor was great. Well, that kind of actually wiped out about 3 of my next questions. Which was, what do you think, the next acquisition will be from Microsoft?
I know what it is.
What do you think?
I think on the Sony side, they're going to buy Capcom.
Okay.
And on the Microsoft side, as I said earlier, I think they're going to pursue more mobile devs.
Right.
I don't know who, but I
Well-
think they're going to go down that path.
Do you
Yeah,
think
I can see that.
on the subject of mobile, and this is in general, but we'll stick with even Microsoft just because that's who we're talking about. We've got the Switch, and it's just the major market share. There is really no other competitor. But people still have the nostalgia for like the PSP and whatever the other one is that I never remember.
Vita.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can never remember that name. Do you think?
Lots of people for Modern Escapism were all crying at that comment there.
Oh, right, okay.
Lest we forget.
Well, there's a lot of nostalgia there, and then they've got that weird cranky one coming out, and then
Playdate.
Playdate,
Playdate,
and
yeah.
then
That looks
some people are
awesome.
playing that thing, yeah. Some people are playing that white one that's out right now, the hybrid-y thing.
Oh, the Analog
Yeah.
Pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that thing. Thank you, Andrew. Do you think that Microsoft is
We
going
didn't
to...
say anything at all there.
Oh, I thought it was Andrew that said it. Okay.
We both did at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Only Andrew came through on my mic or my
Convenient.
earphones. Yes. Do you think, Oodles, do you think Microsoft is going to try to come out with its own handheld?
No, I don't think they would, because they have xCloud.
Right?
They're quite a forward-thinking company, and they see the potential in. I mean, you look at your own personal internet speeds compared to what they used to be 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Massively. I mean, I haven't got really good internet. I've got like 76 megabits a second, but I'm only paying £15 a month.
Right.
So it's getting cheaper, and xCloud is their mobile platform. Like I said to you earlier, I believe Microsoft might have another stab at the mobile market. Imagine a Microsoft Xbox phone, Android-based, built-in xCloud,
Zune,
free Game Pass, all that. You got Teams. I don't know, some kind of weird deal with Netflix, and there you go. You're onto a winner already.
Right.
I don't think they're going to make an Xbox portable because they saw what happened to Sony. And they are not. No one's Nintendo. Nobody's Nintendo. You can't touch it.
Nobody has got the nuts to go up toe to toe with Nintendo in the handheld market.
Nintendo
anymore.
are not scared to lose millions on a whim. Look at the Wii U.
The 3DS, like, it started
Exactly.
very badly as well.
Exactly. They are not scared to do that. They're titans of the toy industry. 'Cause remember, they're not console manufacturers. They are toy makers.
Right.
And I don't think Microsoft would even dare. They haven't even stepped into VR yet.
No.
So they were not going to do a handheld. Not at all. Not with xCloud. The money and the server space they've got for that, it could break big.
They did do that weird VR in your living room thing.
Smart Glass, was
the
it?
HoloLens.
Yeah, HoloLens.
That's
sorry,
it.
yeah,
HoloLens. That's what I'm talking about. The HoloLens. But I don't know. They've never really.
That looked pretty
before.
cool. The demo they did with Minecraft was awesome, but then it just dropped off the face of the planet.
Yeah,
It
I was going to say, I've not seen it since. Yeah,
No.
I haven't seen it since.
Funnily
What I can
enough,
say-
it's not dead, actually. It's being
It's not
used in
dead.
government contracts.
What I can say,
okay.
though, on record, again, another hot take. If Microsoft release a handheld, I will eat this hat.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Because you got lambasted by Stig in the chat.
Yeah,
Make
I will eat this hat.
And read the logo on the hat for everyone out there. For our watchers. Sorry, for our watchers. Apologies to our listeners.
On the handheld topic as well, just when you say that it's dangerous to go after Nintendo in that market, that mean Valve are really gambling, aren't they?
No, that's,
They are known for this kind of gamble.
Yeah.
It's Valve.
Oh, yeah.
They're not
Well,
scared.
that's my next.
Steam was a huge gamble at the time,
exactly.
wasn't it?
Exactly. Stocks was terrified of Steam. They were like, "Whoa, we're shareholders. We're scared of this." And
They made Half-Life 2 exclusive to Steam, for
which was a
Christ's sake.
big move.
Yeah, and look how well it's done. It's now become
Paid
the
off, hasn't it?
platform for PC.
I'm gonna ask a dumb question. Jonathan says MSFS in VR on Quest 2 is amazing. What is MSFS?
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh wow! Okay.
It is apparently it is incredible.
I bet it would be. I can't do VR for very long. I get very sick.
No, if it's on the Quest 2, I would imagine that it would probably be better to play it wired rather than wireless because of the input latency.
I can't do VR
right.
because I can't lay down and play games. If I've got a VR headset on, that's
Lay
so I play
down?
games. Lazy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right, you like to
But-
lay down and play. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Lazy
I got you.
gamer.
5 minutes and I'm sick as anything. Playing
Yeah,
VR. Not a
yeah.
chance.
Yeah.
But Andrew, so a little tiny bit targeted question for you. So, do you think that Microsoft might try to buy some Sega titles and do a little Dreamcasty thing revival?
Ooh. So there's been rumors for the last few years that
Yes.
Sega's going to get bought out by somebody, and it's been pointed out time and again that it's Sega Sammy. They don't just own a video game company; they own
That's
a huge
right.
amount of different types of businesses. It'd be really difficult to
They're a big
for
profit
anybody
owner as
to
well.
buy them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So the only way that would happen is if Sega Sammy decided to split and the Sega side went on its own, and then somebody could buy it. In a way, I would like to see it. I'm not sure who I'd want to buy them. I think Microsoft is probably the safer bet, but because they don't treat their legacy titles very well. I mean, apart from Mega Drive, and you get just the same Mega Drive collection re-released every generation.
Yes.
Everything else is a little bit, nothing from Dreamcast really. You get the
Where's the Saturn Mini?
Yeah, where's the Saturn Mini? Where's the Dreamcast
Oh my
Mini?
gosh. Give me
All these
Seaman.
things.
I just want Seaman.
No, but we all remember that the original Xbox was the Dreamcast 2.
Yes.
We all know
pretty much,
this. They have got. There is a history there, but if I was a betting man, and I am, I'd say Nintendo would buy Sega.
That's
Not
my
likely.
personal. That's kind of my personal thought as well. Is that it would be Nintendo? It'd be a perfect
Look
fit.
at the Nintendo Online stuff with the Mega Drive stuff and all that. They've got a very strong relationship. Big Sonic energies.
Yeah.
I would say Nintendo are in a better position probably to do that, but in terms of finances,
Yeah, they live next door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's
a good
the
point.
thing is that Andrew's dead correct. It's having to deal with Sammy would be the biggest problem
that's-
with this.
They are technically bigger than Sega, aren't they?
They are. They're massive. You
Oh,
know,
right.
and the big thing is as well is that when it comes to purchasing of Japanese companies, there is a whole different beast when it comes to the Japanese Security Exchange Commission, and
Yeah.
you know they don't tend to sell businesses to outside of their own country.
They
So-
don't
so
like what they call
Nintendo-
the Western handshake, do they?
No, so
No.
they're more likely to sell to a Japanese company, or in this instance, possibly even a Chinese company.
Yeah. There you go.
So
10 cents.
it's likely to either be Tencent, Epic, or maybe Epic because of the
Maybe
investment by
Epic.
Tencent.
Maybe
but
Epic.
it's likely to be Sony more than anyone because I think they have more capital
Could be.
behind them to buy studios, whereas Nintendo are very, very different when it comes to their acquisitions. They only buy companies that they've had a working relationship for a long period of time. The next one that you might likely see from them is probably Mercury Steam, actually.
Yeah, if Sony did buy Sega, Sony's like Microsoft don't have a movie studio. Sony do.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
No,
true.
There's a
but-
lot of IP there. The Sonic films are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that. Think of the Crazy Taxi movie we could have,
Please don't. I want it. Now that you said it, I want it.
starring Chris Pratt.
Jet Set Radio.
gosh.
Oh no,
So cool,
no!
though.
Don't mention Chris.
Chris Pratt
Going so
as the
well.
taxi.
Oh, he's the taxi. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well,
But that's what you've got to think bigger picture, haven't you, with these businesses? Sony are a movie studio as well, sound studio. Microsoft are just PC and gaming, aren't they? Really?
no.
Programs and
no,
games.
No. They own several things and several media companies as well.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not. I mean,
TV and stuff like that.
like NBC, MSNBC is obviously Microsoft.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we could have Sega News then, couldn't we?
Oh gosh.
I mean, the way I view acquisitions, right? First of all, I view it as a chess game. Microsoft have made their move. I think the next acquisition we'll see is from the other side, whatever the other side will be. Again, you see all the console warriors on the especially Sony side saying, right, Sony, we need to do something. We need to respond. Like,
But I
what do
can't
we
come
do here?
now.
Get EA, get Ubisoft, do anything. But if you ask me, I don't think there should be any more big acquisitions like this. I think this.
Well,
is...
Ciaran, I have a targeted question for you. As a matter of
Oh,
fact.
right, okay.
So what do you think about the idea that Microsoft could very well own Bungie again in the future?
I mean,
That's-
sorry, wait. If this acquisition had been 2 years ago, then
yeah,
it would have already done.
Yeah.
Was that a comedy question?
It is a
Yeah.
comedic question. It's my troll question for Ciaran.
I mean, right. I'm still of the mind that the reason we got Destiny expansion on Game Pass is Microsoft tried to take a shot at it, and
Yeah?
Bungie said, "Nah, we're fine."
Yeah.
And they said, "Listen, we're gonna use Game Pass, but we like being independent." Which, I mean, to be fair, they're doing well. I mean, as much as every Destiny player hates the game, they still buy the expansions and
Yeah, they do.
content.
I
It's
bought
not
them
a meme
all.
that every Destiny player hates Destiny.
I did buy them all.
But it would be quite funny if all these acquisitions were just about the fact that Microsoft's heart's still broken from Bungie leaving, and all of this is just them
We
trying
want
to
you
get them
back.
they brought up everyone. Well, that's the thing. Like, give it like in like 30 years' time, Microsoft owns all entertainment and gaming companies, including Sony. The last holdout, Bungie. They're at their doorstep crying. You say, I've never stopped thinking about you.
That ex-girlfriend that got away.
Yeah, that day you walked at me. None of these guys, they can never fill the hole in my heart you left.
Oh wow.
But on a serious note, it's possible. But I think Bungie's content where they are at this point.
Those bridges are burned.
Especially with like the hype that Witch Queen's getting, that will be coming out very soon, and the fact that Witch Queen is not going to be in Game Pass either.
Right.
I think that's deliberate. I think they want to make as much money off that as possible.
I've seen a few people calling it the Halo Infinite killer. This Witch Queen. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm convinced Halo Infinite Season 2 needs to come a lot sooner so I keep it alive.
Yeah.
That's a different discussion. But no, Bungie. Nah. But again, I just think, I think the worst thing that can come out of this acquisition is essentially a shopping spree.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst thing that can come out of this. As much as like, because I mean, I don't know if Kelly, if you're going to bring up the whole monopoly thing that's been thrown around. I've got strong feelings about that, but I think what's worse. No, not worse than monopoly, but I think the most plausible thing that could happen, that is probably the worst case scenario, is Sony buying up someone big like EA or Ubisoft. Realistically, I don't think they need it. No. Considering like Sony, as I mentioned earlier, I think I saw a story. The PlayStation 5 is set to double the sales of the Series X this year.
Yeah.
Microsoft still aren't leading in terms of console sales, at least, and in the same time, then surely they're not the leader there anyway. If Sony's still outselling them, Sony has more consistent exclusive releases. Xbox has been putting in long-term investments. They'll get the exclusives eventually. We know Xbox have exclusives in the pipeline that are coming out, and good ones as well. But at this point in time, they're still struggling to compete, as is seen in, again, PlayStation and Xbox sales numbers. So I mean, at least for a good few years, I don't think Sony needs to buy anything. I don't think Xbox needs to buy anything more for a good while either. There's no need. We need independence to some degree.
I agree.
Which is another reason why I think Bungie is fine being independent. They're doing well. Only time I could see Bungie going to them is if they start struggling, and because I don't want Destiny to die. Destiny's great, as much as it's terrible.
It's not terrible.
It's exactly what they want from you.
Yeah. But no, I think in terms of the worst thing that could come out of this is Sony buying up someone big in response, because why will the joke of EA being the worst games company in the world and like genuine evil as a thing, it's nice to have EA be their own entity. It's nice having Ubisoft be their entity. I don't think having any of those big players bought up is a good thing. I think keeping them is fine.
Well, we are going to start wrapping it up. I have one big question, but I did get distracted slightly by Brent's question, which is what about
GoldenEye?
Yeah. There was
that was some pretty big news that came out obviously before this, was that
Pete, go for it,
and then I'll ask my last question. There could be a dual release of a new GoldenEye, which was teased, was also leaked online last year as well.
The achievements got leaked as well, didn't they?
The achievements got leaked, I think, very early into the year, and I think the thing that people seem to forget about this is that actually there are 3 rights holders involved in this, and that's Rare, that's Nintendo, and that's MGM. Nintendo still technically has some part of the contract as well, and if they don't say so, this ain't happening.
Right, okay.
And I think the only way that this is going to happen is if they manage to agree to deal with both Microsoft, Rare, and MGM to have the original version come out on the N64 expansion pass and an upgraded version come out for Xbox.
And there is the elephant in the room as well. You guys probably don't remember that it's not that good anymore.
I've mentioned it to you.
That's what I hear.
Before in a comment to Modern Escapism, didn't I? Where I said that GoldenEye
there are many better shooters.
Yes.
Many better shooters.
I mean, it was a great game at the time. It's just aged horrendously, unfortunately.
Like if they said we've just done the graphics, everything's the same. Like what? That control scheme's the same.
Well,
not a chance.
Well, if they manage to incorporate dual sticks, then fine. They've done an upgrade to it at least.
But what has that got now that other shooters haven't surpassed? Do you know what I mean? The single player campaign, we've got Titanfall 2. The multiplayer, we've got Halo, Call of Duty, we've got all that. stop getting excited over nostalgia, guys. Come on.
That's it.
It's hard. It's hard not to. It's
I know it's
nostalgia.
hard. I know it's hard. I get it. I'm the same with other IPs, but GoldenEye.
Nostalgia is not what it used to be.
Okay, so Oodles, quick question when it comes to nostalgia. How do you feel about HD 2D Dragon Quest 3?
No comment.
There you go. That's exactly my point.
I had to refer to my solicitors on that one.
Well, there you go. Speaking of solicitors, so on to my last major big question. Andrew, I'm going to start with you. I give you all the big questions. But, so over in America, we've got these major antitrust laws. I didn't do a lot of reading to see if you guys over here have any.
It's like this is stuff. Antitrust laws are applied to a wide range of questionable business activities, including market allocation, bid rigging, price fixing, and big one, as I mentioned earlier, monopolies.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm
that's the
talking
rough idea.
So in 1998, Microsoft was brought up on their first massive antitrust things in America, in the US. And like I said,
What was it? I actually don't remember.
they were
Shareholders getting concerned, I believe, wasn't it?
yeah, and they were buying up some other company or whatever, and so they wanted to.
They didn't discuss it with each other. There was
No.
backhanded handshakes and stuff like
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so the
Dark time.
Yes, a very dark time. And the first ruling was to break up Microsoft into smaller entities.
Yep.
And then they had a retrial, and that was overturned.
Well, they paid for it to be overturned.
They did. They were. Yes, they got penalties in order to do that, which I think they were fine with, in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. But anyway, Andrew. So what I'm asking now is, this deal with Activision is not finalized. It's not, and there's still a lot of questions, legal questions that are happening. Do you think that this goes towards Microsoft being a monopoly? Or do you think, I mean, let's face it, let's look at Disney. Disney's buying up everything and seems to be okay. Yeah. Do you think this is just gonna be like water off a duck's back and they'll just go on and the deal will happen?
Yeah. I mean, you think they must have had lawyers look at this already and go, can this break these kind of laws? Are we going to be... Because they'd be stupid not to. They're not going to go into it and then go, oh, crap, we forgot about antitrust laws. Oh, what are we going to do? Like, no, they'd have had...
Oh, no.
Darn it!
Why did we forget this?
I knew I forgot something! I thought I left the stove on!
There's not paperwork from 1998 stored somewhere about antitrust.
Extremely famous
We
case.
forgot about Wall Street. Oh, no.
But yeah, I don't see it being a huge deal. And the reason, like you said, there's things like Disney buying up everything. But also, if you just look at the video games market, it's technically it's not a monopoly. You still have Sony, who are really big. You still have EA, who are a huge publisher.
Right.
You've got Tencent coming into things. You've still got big independent video game companies like Capcom, like Ubisoft, like all these kind of people. So if they were, I don't know, it's a huge acquisition, sure, and I'm uncomfortable with it for sure.
Yes.
However,
morally, yes, absolutely.
But it's I don't know. It would be different if they were going around trying to buy everybody. Like if they start trying to grab everything, then I'll be like, ah. But at this point, for me, it just seems right. Okay, IP. They're trying to get IP, and there's that little part of me that hopes or really believes that they're trying to do something good here and make Activision a better place and turn it around. And can you imagine the PR if they do that? If they rehabilitate the image of Activision Blizzard?
That's the only way to do it.
That rehabilitate. I think it's one actually like that.
It's the only way it's going to happen is being totally bought out and getting rid of the previous, management and stuff.
Now, can I raise a point about this antitrust thing?
Sure, and then okay, yes, go for it.
Yeah, they technically aren't purchasing a company that would take them into monopoly value.
Yes. Okay. That's That's the part I was gonna mention. Okay.
The purchase itself is massive,
vertical.
and obviously Activision Blizzard have been rated at a huge value. by share prices, obviously, but this is obviously cash only. But
Right.
they're not just purchasing PC, they're purchasing console developers, they're purchasing mobile, like we mentioned earlier. I take umbrage with Andrew not mentioning Nintendo because their market share is 62 billion. You know,
Sorry. Yeah, of course.
it's fine. Because I've heard a lot of people on podcasts and videos turning around and going, they've basically essentially purchased a Nintendo here.
Oh, goodness.
And yeah, it still takes their market value to only just about 10%.
You've got to bear in mind as well, they tend to slap down on the monopoly hard if the companies they're buying aren't in debt already. Now they are purchasing a lot of debt. A lot of debt. So it is a kind of rehabilitation for the American side of things, which is good for the economy, and that's how they've got to see it. They're like Activision Blizzard are in debt. They're also profitable, but they're all still in debt. All of them. Microsoft, they bleed money.
I was going to say corporations operate on debt. I will try not to bore our
It's all
listeners.
credit.
But yes, see, this is my wheelhouse. And so what I wanted to say was that, and then I will shut up because it will get boring, is that what Microsoft is doing is called a vertical acquisition, which means that it actually is not going to be bothered by antitrust laws because they're staying within their thing. Now, if they were going and buying a telephone company,
or McDonald's,
exactly, then we would see court things. But what, Pete?
Also, Microsoft isn't opposed to funding their competitors as well.
Exactly.
I mean,
because
it goes
they
very
purchased
far.
stocks in Apple when they were failing before.
Yep. That's the best way to do stuff like that. And something that we've said many times, I believe, on the show, which is even the PlayStation has Microsoft software in it.
Yes.
Yep.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft, and by extension obviously Big Phil, knows the value of having Sony and Nintendo around, which is why he wants to work with them rather than against them.
Well, I mean, even he said that he wants to see the games from he said childhood. I mean, Phil.
Pong.
I mean,
he's our age. He's our age.
No, he's not.
Childhood too.
He's got to be like 50, right?
No.
He's in his early 40s, I think.
Early 40s, for sure.
Early 40s.
Oh
Yeah, so
my
he's much older than us, so
poor Phil!
his
Speak for
childhood
yourself.
games are our childhood games.
Oh my gosh! Phil needs
I'm a young man.
medication. I pretend to be a young woman anyway.
So I tend to be a young woman sometimes as well.
Yes. But wow, I didn't realize that. I really am shocked. But yeah, he did say that he wants to bring back the games of his childhood. And
He does play. He is a gamer. I've seen
yeah.
photo. There's that photo going around on Twitter where he's got a Switch in his hand.
Yeah.
He just likes games. He likes
does.
games. There's nothing wrong with a leader liking that.
Oh no,
Exactly. He's had the Switch up on the bookshelf whilst he's been doing like interviews
Exactly.
about Microsoft's acquisitions and all that. So he's just a gamer for
We know he's playing
knows the
Smash
value.
Brothers. We know he
I mean,
is.
he
should
was
be a
tweeting it out
character
when
in
Banjo
Smash.
came out.
Exactly.
Pete, they need to make him a character in Smash.
I'd put my wages
No.
down that he's played Last of Us 2 on a
Oh my
PlayStation
gosh,
5.
probably.
I know
I
he has.
wonder what his thoughts on it were though.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But anyway,
That's the question that we need, like,
There you
really,
go.
from someone on a podcast.
Phil, what do
did
you think?
we need to get him on. But we're going to.
I could try, but I won't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, but
go, Ciaran.
no,
yes.
yeah, just a kind of final thought on this.
That's-
I just think the whole
yes.
Monopoly thing that came out, like, I think people are just overreacting completely.
They are.
Yeah.
It was a complete overreaction. Yes, it was big news. It was a shocking news, which I
Yeah.
can understand overreaction, but it was just a complete overreaction. I think the big thing that kind of brought it up as well was the fact they had Call of Duty, which is the biggest shit in the world. Let's be real.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But even with Call of Duty, like, they don't own the FPS market. You know,
Oh, right.
I mean, they're very powerful
Well-
now.
Oh yeah.
They're very powerful. No, they don't own it. But right, they don't own it officially. Right, they could own it, and the
You
fact
can't
that
own
they
a
have-
genre.
Yeah.
No, you
But-
can't. I mean, technically, you can't own a genre, but if you've got
You can lead. a
Yeah,
genre.
gonna
yeah,
say-
they've got Halo. They've got Halo, and they've
Halo,
got
Call
now
of
the biggest
Duty.
shit in the world.
Who-
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
They're powerful.
who's
Right.
left?
Who's left? Well, right, of course. EA are struggling with Battlefield, and the news coming out, they're thinking of making it free to play. But I really did
should.
hope Battlefield would have done well this year, going back to the
It's
modern.
one of my
Dickinson.
favorites.
Bungie and Epic that's left, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
you can't-
it seems like I know there was a recent thing from Jeff Grubb. Jeff Grubb apparently reported that because he obviously Jeff Grubb was always in all of his insider knowledge. Respawn are making an FPS again.
Oh yes.
Yes, I heard
yes.
this.
It is
Yeah.
sadly not Titanfall 3, which I shed a tear over every time I
That's
read that.
surprising, but hey.
Absolutely tragic that it's not Titanfall 3.
Mm.
But apparently,
I hope it's not a World War II shooter. We don't need another one of them for a while.
Right. Okay,
According to the report from him, internally it is being discussed as a shooter that focuses on style and mobility. So probably in the same vein as Titanfall, hopefully.
Maybe like Ghost Runner and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Imagine
think
the
the
American
same.
Civil War.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Loading the flintlock.
I don't know how I'd feel trying to pick a side in that game, to be honest.
well,
But
but that's a larger question.
Sorry, I was going to say maybe they've done a deal with Sega to bring back Vanquish.
Oh my
Not a
goodness.
chance.
Oh, I know,
imagine-
I know. I just wanted to see reactions.
Yeah. But who knows? It could be a Titanfall themed thing if that is the rhetoric going around. Because as you know, Apex Legends is almost like a sequel to Titanfall.
Well,
Yes.
it's the same
as we
universe,
know.
isn't it?
Yeah. It's like essentially it's after like 1 and 2. So they could do like a kind of post thing where it's not like the whole Titanfall 2 kind of war thing, but it's kind of like Apex, but an actual shooter rather than a battle royale.
Mm.
I can see
Bring
it
it
being
on.
good. But there you go. EA's already making a new FPS, probably because of the failure that was Battlefield 2042.
I know.
And
I'm
it's
so
Respawn.
sad
and
about
Respawn can make a good FPS.
Mhm.
They can make a good game.
And honestly, the acquisition of Call of Duty could even I've seen a couple of people say this could incentivize Sony to pursue their own exclusive shooter.
Killzone.
Yes,
What happened to
Killzone,
Resistance?
please.
Oh, kills.
Resistance, yeah, Resistance is a shout.
I don't know about Resistance.
Resistance 3 was pretty good actually.
It's
I never
very.
played it myself.
I don't know.
They were very grey games, just like Killzone,
Mhm.
just grey.
That was the thing
Yeah.
that always put me off about it. Sorry, Ciaran. Like that's I always saw the box art to
And
them, and it always
Homefront.
put me off because it just looked grey and horrible.
Muddy, mud
It
the
is
game.
muddy.
No,
Yes,
well, see,
that's it.
I'm the opposite. When I was like 7 and I'd be in Asda and I'd see like I'd see Resistance sitting there, I'd think, oh, that looks so cool. And I was so sad I couldn't play it because like those were like cool monster things.
Oh,
and I was
you
like,
were 7 when
Yes,
Resistance
he was
came out.
7. Yes, I know.
yeah.
We have this out quite.
Every time he opens his damn mouth.
I don't think it was the first Resistance. It was some Resistance game. Every time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I wish I could play that so much."
Did it have the red skull on it basically? Because
Every time I saw a skull, I just thought the skull was cool. I just thought having a bit it was cool, just as a wee guy that.
It
loved
wasn't.
to-
They weren't terrible games. They were, and the
No,
first
they're
one was
not
set in
terrible.
London. It was all right.
Speaking of
Okay.
games set in London, you just reminded me of Zombie U. Remember that?
Oh, I
God.
remember Zombie U.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was a
Wow.
good game on the Wii U actually.
Yeah,
It's on everything now. It's just called Zombie,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
Okay. Before we do our closing thoughts for everyone, Pete, do you want to catch us up on chat and then we will?
I will try my best because
I know, it's quite a bit.
My connection kind of died
Oh.
a death.
Oh, do you
on
want me
my
to do
phone,
it?
so- no, I can have a look through. I've got the chat still open.
They're
so-
enjoying themselves.
They really are.
They are, yeah. There's a few. We had Stig coming in at one point saying Oodles not wearing Emmy's merch. Disappointing. Always sell the pod. He did. And he has. And still will. Constantly. We then to Andrew quickly get a copy of Lock On in the background. Phil Spencer's Series S style.
Damn it. You have them in the background. You just can't see them from here.
I've also been told to get the Volume 1 back printed because apparently you're out of
yeah.
stock.
Yeah.
Oh,
We are, yeah.
Just.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We don't reprint. So
Well,
but there you go.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, I was going to actually say that, but Andrew mentioned it himself.
Yeah.
He's probably the best person to mention it as well. Yeah, that was one of the things from the interview that we did before, is that you'll never reprint, which is very unfortunate, but there's always digital copies available.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
right. Jonathan put, define the harder stuff, Kieran.
Hmm?
Long time ago, that.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
what
this
we
is
were
how
talking
far
about.
back
Cards
I'm
from
gonna go.
Game Pass. Yeah.
Cannibals like skins. Josh put Phil Spencer in a Crash Bandicoot suit.
I can see it.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome. Spins
Yeah, I could
onto the
see it.
stage and reveals Crash 5 on Xbox.
Oh my god.
can see it.
I could.
I could see him just wearing a Crash Bandicoot shirt.
Oh, Coco
yeah.
Bandicoot.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
No, we get Phil Spencer coming in a Crash Bandicoot shirt, but then we get Keanu Reeves in the costume.
Yes. Because he's voicing Crash Bandicoot now.
There you go.
Exactly, perfect.
There you
They
go.
could do
And then-
that.
and
They
then-
had Elijah
Oh.
Wood voice Spyro at one point.
Yeah,
Oh,
that would be
that's
breathtaking.
Amazing.
And then right, so if Keanu Reeves
Oh,
is
that's
Crash,
clever.
then Chris Pratt could be
Oh,
the
gosh.
mask.
Yes, we've done it.
Oh.
We've done it. We've won the internet.
There's
That's
your
ins-
E3 presentation.
Remember-
Yes, yes.
Andrew, you've got to remember, he's so cool, you know.
Is
Oh
he?
my
Is
God.
he?
I'm just mentioning, obviously, how many times they mentioned how cool he was in the direct.
Super cool.
Is he? But yeah, what?
Very-
Brent put, I pretty much consider EA already part of Game Pass Ultimate. Every EA game will end up there
Yeah.
eventually. He then put, I agree, Microsoft is lacking in family-friendly games. Making Spyro and Crash exclusive will help with that immensely.
Spyro.
They also forgot about Banjo, and they probably should remember they have Banjo, because that might help. Jonathan put, there are some Game Pass Ultimate games that are VR compatible from PC.
Yeah.
He then mentioned, obviously, about Flight Simulator being on VR on Quest 2. He then put, Weaklings, Bailey has been playing Rec Room for 2+ hours, and she's 11.
I can't. I vomit. I just can't do
Yeah.
VR. I just can't.
Younger generation just look different, clearly.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, exactly. They're more used to that kind of thing.
Who ball with phones in their hands.
Yeah, even stereoscopic 3D on the 3DS completely screwed me.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
I never turned it on.
Nope.
No, neither did I.
Nope.
And playing Super Mario 3D Land was a bad idea
chance.
without it.
Oh
so.
gosh.
Squash Pickle or Josh put, speaking of Dreamcast, ... Jonathan put Seaman, not Seaman.
I remember Seaman.
Bringing the tone down.
Fish guy.
Yep.
Yes.
Is it voiced by
Spock.
Leonard Nimoy?
Yep. I was gonna say Leonard
Yep.
Nimoy.
Yes.
Spock
Yeah.
was. Yep.
Rest in peace.
Yep.
Yeah.
He then put Crazy Taxi versus Uber versus Lyft.
That's it. There you go.
That's-
There you go. There's a new Crazy Taxi game for you.
Oh goodness.
I mean, in terms of speed, Crazy Taxi would beat both, but in terms of collateral damage,
Yeah. And deaths.
Uber would still win. Brent then put, what about GoldenEye? We answered that one. He said, if new games are added to Game Pass every week, then if they amass 52 first-party studios, they can have a first-party reveal every week. That'd be
It's
cool.
Microsoft. They can do it.
Actually,
How are you going to
imagine
play everything, though? That's my problem with Game Pass.
Yeah.
How on earth are you going to play everything?
Yeah,
You
see,
can't.
I get stuck in
It's
one
impossible.
game. I get stuck in one
Yeah.
game and then don't play anything else. And that one game is Destiny.
When I had Game Pass, I just didn't stick with anything because I thought, I've not bought this. So I just put it down.
Yeah.
Mind you, I thought I was going to say that
interesting
about
take.
everything as well, but I've played Halo more because it's on Game Pass.
Ah, it's because you didn't buy it.
Yes.
It's a two-sided
Yeah,
coin. isn't
I-
it?
Well, see,
Yeah, I don't see myself. I don't think I would have bought the Halo campaign for a full 50 quid.
oh, not for a
Well,
No.
maybe when they started bringing out like the story editions, because I have
Yeah.
more. So,
right. Yeah.
Considering that prospect of the disc edition has got next to no content on it, it's kind of pointless even owning it.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but yes, I
Discs
agree.
are dead, guys.
Yes, see,
Never.
the future is now.
It's digital, Pete. It's digital.
No. I'm going to disprove this one. Oodles, how are you going to play Ratchet and Clank from me?
I don't know.
On a disc?
Yeah.
Discs are not dead.
Discs aren't dead until I finish this.
Disco is. I mean, discs
Discs
are
aren't
dead.
dead until everyone embraces digital future, and I'll be an outlier and say I'm never embracing full digital
Yeah,
future.
you don't have to, Pete. The rest of us will move on.
No, I love a physical edition. All right.
Pete still has his VHS player.
Probably don't.
Don't, because that actually came up in a conversation with my dad earlier. That was just weird.
No.
It's like, let's watch E.T., Dad, on this 1977 VHS we've got.
No.
Television.
There are advantages to still having VHS. The original cuts, the original trilogy of Star Wars, the better versions.
Oh,
Yeah, but
wait,
before
wait.
they got destroyed.
Look at Andrew.
No.
Andrew's
Look
got
at that. He's got a CRT.
For our listeners, Andrew just let us see that
You
he
hoarders.
does have. He has a
I was-
CRT with the VHS.
I was on one of those very machines. I watched Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope for the first time.
Oh gosh.
Same.
Yeah, where they have Episode 6, the original cut, without Hayden Christensen. So that's a huge win.
Oh yeah, that should be preserved. It belongs in a museum.
Listen, I cannot wait to see Hayden Christensen in the Obi-Wan series.
Yes!
I cannot wait for it.
I know, but with diverting, I need to get through this chat.
Yeah,
I hope to
okay.
God Hayden Christensen's getting his shoe and pouring the sand out of his shoes because he hates sand.
Oh, it's so
I
I
hate
hate
sand.
sand. It's so coarse. Yeah. I'm not even going to continue with that one. Jonathan with some fighting words. Perfect Dark was better on the N64.
It was. I'm on his side. Perfect.
I am
is
on
a
his
better
side too.
FPS game.
It was. And
Wasn't that the sequel
I
to
will-
to Golden? Supposed to be the sequel to
It was
GoldenEye, and
supposed
then
to be a
they.
GoldenEye sequel. But,
Yeah,
they
spiritual
didn't get
sequel.
the license.
It's
Right.
way better.
It is, yeah, until you play a mate who knows how to organise all the bots into a way that are unplayable.
Nice.
I know that person.
Yeah, I hate that guy. To be fair, Perfect Dark is better and available on Rare Replay and on Game Pass.
Oh, I have
play
Red
that.
Replay. I do
Still
have
not
Red
as
Replay.
fun playing it on a 360 controller or an Xbox One controller. That was back when the internet went beep beep whir beep boop boop beep boop. Yeah,
Or like
modem sound.
1998.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
the sound of childhood.
98 though? I thought.
Welcome to AOL.
Oh my god,
gosh.
AOL chat rooms.
You
Let's
have
not
mail.
start on that one.
Yeah.
I was getting
Phil-
excited.
Okay, we've got clarification from Brent. Phil was born in '69.
I told you
Nice.
he was way nice. I told you he was way older
which
than
the
us.
which the next comment afterwards was Jonathan just putting nice.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Brent then put they have two top sellers in December, COD and Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Uncharted, the shooter. He then
No.
put never.
Uncharted is dead. Uncharted
dear.
is dead.
We're not going to see another Uncharted game for at least 5-6 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's dead. It's dead. It's dead.
Squash Pickle is aging himself again by saying, "Ha, I was free."
Oh, wow.
It's the only one
Yeah,
younger
he's
than
a bit-
Ciaran.
He is a
I know, the only person rapping to me is younger than me.
yeah. That boy is young.
Oh
He's young.
yes.
Good
Boy.
lad though. Good lad. Ratchet and Brent put Ratchet and Clank Battle Royale. Oh hell no.
My goodness.
You can see it, though. That's the problem. You
I
can
could,
see
yeah,
it.
exactly.
That's why I said,
I'm like
oh
that.
hell no, because I know it could be done.
That could work.
Oh, all these little clanks running at everyone. Oh,
Yeah,
bleh.
honestly, Andrew, please play Ratchet and Clank on your PS5. It's a wonderful game.
Okay, I will. I'll do that.
Jesus. Josh put Crash costume in a serious antitrust court case.
No, see, that's what I would do. I'd show up to a serious case in full costume.
That doesn't surprise me, Kylie.
No.
Brent put, I don't buy games anymore, at least not full price. I play on Game Pass Ultimates or get review codes. Basically what I do.
Yeah.
I get review codes for most things.
Yeah,
I could have swore I was gonna buy Halo, and then I didn't.
yeah. Jonathan then closes out the chat by putting, it had better multiplayer and weapons, 100% agree. He then asked the infamous question from the early 2000s of ASL.
Yeah, 34. Yes, please. Yorkshire.
I remember those days.
Oh, so do I. They were.
I
And
weren't
then-
34
and
back
then-
then, by the way. Just
Well,
I
see,
hope
that would have been weird.
I still
I
remember
really
when
hope not.
Not with this much hair. I'd be like 60 odd now.
Oh my gosh. But I still remember when Yahoo Chat went to voice. And
Yes.
yeah.
Dark times.
It was! Because people would hop on and be like, oh, you're a girl. It's like, oh.
I remember when I got my first webcam, I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, the days of MSN Messenger where you have to look and see if someone wanted to put the camera on.
Oh,
Yeah, I
so
was like,
good.
uh-oh.
Yes. Oh, man. Okay, so...
Have you seen the teams have now done a thing now where it's like, we're recording, you must consent to this.
Yes.
Oh, man. So Teams is just MSN, but for grown-ups now.
It is.
Pretty
Oh,
much
my
is,
gosh.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, I'm not going to think too hard on that. So
That's what she said.
That's... Dang it, that's my line. So...
You've been ousted.
I have. So Pete's caught us up on chat, but what I'm going to do now is let our wonderful panel of way cooler people than me give their closing thoughts on this Microsoft acquisition. We'll start with Oodles. Oodles, what are your closing thoughts?
I think people need to stop being worried about monopolies and things like that. The fact that we've still got independent games coming through and some of those break the internet, how good they are. Just think back to Hollow Knight, you've got Stardew Valley, these big hitters, they still exist and they will always exist. So don't be worried, we're still going to get variety. Let Microsoft be Microsoft, let Sony be Sony, let Nintendo be Nintendo. We're going to win from Game Pass, we're going to win from other companies being scared of Microsoft. We're going to be fine. It's big news, don't get me wrong, but we're going to be fine.
I like that. Pete, what about you? What's your closing thoughts for today?
This news was massive. It took everyone by surprise. It was a huge deal. Obviously, I never thought that we'd ever top Bethesda deal, and especially not so quickly after either. The market share is just a ludicrously crazy amount of money, and that was the biggest surprise for me. But I'm more positive about this one because it finally means that Activision Blizzard are going to sort themselves out, get rid of the Goblin Man that is Kotick, and finally those employees there might actually have something decent to write about their company rather than all this utter load of nonsense that we refused to cover because we weren't in the place to actually discuss it. So this feels like to me as well in this episode that this is finally the closer to all that sort of nonsense. Not to say that it's not completely done with, but I think this will sit more into the favour with giving more power to the employees that truly deserve it.
Right.
I'm looking forward to the Glassdoor reviews in the next few years of working there.
Oh,
it's going to be interesting.
Probably some books are going to come out of that.
It's better now.
Andrew, what about you? Closing thoughts for today?
I was really I was kind of angry when I first heard the news of this happening, but I think I was angry because it's Activision Blizzard and what's happening at the moment.
Yes.
I was like, no. Anytime their name comes up in anything, I'm like, because I just remember what's been happening. But yeah, as everybody else has said so far, it really is not as big of a deal as it seems. In fact, it's probably going to be good for most involved. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens. And come 2023 when everything's finalized, I'm just looking forward to all those games coming to Game Pass.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be fun.
Yes. Ciaran, closing thoughts.
It's certainly something that's going to have its ups and downs. Again, I think it's great for Microsoft, who will just get more opportunities to make, I think, new games. Again, go back to my point I made at the very start of this episode, where I was saying, imagine, the Call of Duty, like Treyarch, Infinity Ward being given extra time to work on something different in COD. I think that'd be something incredibly cool to see what can come out of those teams other than a shooter. I mean, maybe another shooter, who knows? Again, the potential of Game Pass going through the roof. And then there's so many unknowns. There's some stuff out there. We don't know how fluid this merge is going to be. We cannot predict where Xbox and gaming is going to be in the next 7 years. Especially with Xbox throwing cloud gaming around a lot. Xbox have been throwing around that incredibly more frequently. Especially with mobile. I just think there's so many unknowns from this that it's both exciting and terrifying. to see how the next few years are going to pan out. I think for Xbox, it can only be good for them. As I've said, Sony are still beating them. Console sales are set to beat them this year again, even more so than they did last year. So, if anything, you know, as much as the fears were that there's going to be no competition, this is Xbox competing. That's what this is. This is Xbox trying to compete, and I think it's going to do them very well in the long run.
Riley, did you by any chance have any thoughts on this yourself?
Never have thoughts. No, actually, sorry, it's chat distracting me. I actually very much kind of mirror Andrew in that when I first heard it, I was not pleased, but it was because it's Activision, and I want to see Bobby Kotick. I want justice, man. I want cosmic justice. But at the same time, I'm of the mind that just pay his money and get rid of him. Who cares? I don't care if it's $1 billion. Pay him $1 billion. I don't care. Just get rid of him. So hopefully that will come to pass. Come to Game Pass.
Oh.
But
It's a groaner.
I know. That's all I'm good at is groaners. But what I do want to do before we give our locations or whatever, we have
The L to the ASL.
yeah, yes, thank you, Pete. The L to the ASL. Is we have a giveaway. Now, Pete, you might have to help me with the details because I have a lot of notes here.
I will get.
We're giving away Pete's PS5.
I've got the message here.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I've got it.
Ciaran, oh, okay. Oh,
Ciaran,
look at Andrew.
you feel free. You take it away if you.
I mean, it depends if you're going to say more, Pete. I've just got the thing you put in the other.
No,
podcast chat.
that's basically all I've got.
Right. Okay. No, if I'm the host.